Aye, are you ready, laddies? Stop fiddling with your tiny pricks.
So you're smoking crack at...
Yeah, it was actually it was actually underneath the Brooklyn Bridge.
Of course it was.
Opie and Anthony present.
I had a piece of cardboard and a boombox, and I was backspinning.
For one night only.
So I have this theory that when you're jerking off, it's like a kaleidoscope in your mind.
But doesn't a kaleidoscope... You mean like a Viewmaster?
Yeah, maybe a Viewmaster kaleidoscope. It's all the same.
The Lazlow Show.
This ain't Little House on the Prairie.
Starring Big Wayne.
You banged a homeless girl, Wayne?
Yeah, she lived in a car. She wasn't homeless.
Reed Tucker.
I blacked out for like the last 5 minutes. I don't even know what... Is this a radio show still?
And Lazlow.
As we all know, when it's time to negotiate with an art dealer, it's time to whip out your junk.
One show, fighting to show 'em we're no dogs, but men. Men who remember freedom, where 16-year-olds can drink and listen to metal music and smoke at bars and get into high-speed accidents. Men who have punch cards at Planned Parenthood. This is the Lazlow Show.
Lazlow Show, episode 35. This is the Jesus Rode a Dinosaur episode. Tonight on the show, tales of Wayne and Danny's love for the same women. Someone on the show was arrested and spent the night in jail overnight. Comedic author Daniel Raydosh is coming by to talk about his hysterical book called Rapture Ready. We've got a 1940s Disney video about menstruation. R. Kelly on teenage girls. How to cook squirrel. And a cooking show hosted by a retard. Yes, it's the show that almost didn't happen tonight because Danny got shit-faced at Anthony Cumia's house all day. To kick off the episode, we got a mashup called Play Your Part by Girl Talk.
Play your part.
My bitch a choosy lover, never fuck without a rubber. Never in the sheets like it on top of the cover. Money on the dresser, drive a compressor. Top notch hoes get the most, not the lesser. Trash like the fuck for $40 in the club. Fucking up the game, bitch, it gets no love. She be cross country, giving all that she got. A thousand a papa pulling billions off the lot. I smashed up the gray one, bought me a red. Every time we hit the parking lot, we turn head. Some hoes wanna choose, but them bitches too scary. Your bitch chose me, you ain't a pimp, you a fairy.
bitch, I'm paid. That's all I gotta say. Can't see you little niggas. The money in the way, and I'm sitting high against the ride blaze. And if you ain't gonna ride fly, then you might as well hate. Shit, I gotta eat, yeah, even though I ain't. No, it ain't my birthday, but I got my name on that cake. Shit, believe that, and if the mans won't play, and I'ma fuck around and put the ball brains on the gate. Hey, pick them up, fuck them, let them lay. Where I'm from, we see a fucking dead body every day. That's uptown, doing that, that'll make a song about me. I'm throwing shots back at 'em. Bitch, I'm a pipe, she like a crack addict. And she saw me cooking eggs, she thought I was back at it. Yeah, I grabbed my keys, oh, I gotta go. Got my motorcycle jacket and my motorcycle low.
Lazlow Show, episode 35. That was, I guess you could call it a mashup, about 80 million songs by Girl Talk. Because we always start the show, the Lazlow Show, with the mashup. It's good to see our first caller so clueless that he's like, how come you started the show with the song?
Right, like every time.
Right, like the last 34 shows. Actually, right. No, because when we first started the show on K-Rock, we were just talking about this. Like, we were only allowed to talk for about 30 or 45 seconds in between, like, AC/DC and Queens of the Stone Age.
Yeah, right. I remember there used to be a red phone on the studio. You remember from the program director, the head of the radio station, if you talked too long, is like that red light would go off like the Cuban Missile Crisis or some shit, you know?
Right.
Like, Lazlow, shut it down, bitch!
Right.
You talked for 45.
Right. So then we just started dropping songs.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where we were literally playing one song an hour just so we could say that we played music.
That's it.
And dude, the other DJs hated us.
I know.
Because they got beat to pieces. They're like, you know, why, and they said to me, like, how come you're not getting fired? And we said, because we do not care. K-Rock called us and said, do you want to do a radio show? And we're like, sure. And it's just like, but we aren't playing Back in Black. We're not going to play your shit music that everybody's already got on their... Like, I don't think the commercial radio has realized that people have iPods. You know,
No.
like when K-Rock relaunched, so The Rock is back, and then the first song they play is Nirvana.
I'm just saying, it's like they're stuck in 1993 over there, man. I listen to that sometimes and more. It's Pearl Jam, it's K-Rock, it's like Sponge, all the stuff that you listened to back in the early 90s grunge.
I guess that's what people want to hear. I don't know.
Is it?
I don't think so.
I'm not listening.
Yeah. I listen to O&A and then
Exactly.
it's like, I'm out. Oh, look, the person that was complaining on the...
We're talking now.
He hung up. So, yes, this is the Lazlow Show. We have Big Wayne and Reed, who I guess are... Big Wayne's my sidekick, and I decided that Reed is now your sidekick.
Oh,
so,
really? He's
so
not
yeah, there's a
producer.
change.
He got demoted?
He's fucking done.
Wow.
Dude, I'm up till midnight last night pulling clips from the internet, and I'm like, why doesn't he get a Pro Tools system and encode this shit?
Well, I don't have any technical skills, really.
Technical skills? Dude, do you see that the fucking DNA dumpsters that work on this show? If those fools could pull clips from the internet and record it.
Danny can move this table up and down, dude.
I know.
It's like magic.
That was really bizarre how he did that. And by the way, we were standing out in front of the XM studios, and it's like the clock is ticking. It's getting very close to showtime. We're like, what the fuck? I'm texting Danny, who didn't answer any phone calls until late this afternoon because he started getting shit-faced at noon yesterday. And then we see way down on 57th Street, Danny, this little figure with a big fro running. He's like, dude, I'm so sorry. I'm still a little fucked up.
Now he's in there eating pizza or something.
Yeah, it's good times. But so our last show got canceled, so some dumb college football game could play, and there's a lot of people upset on the message boards. I got to say thanks for the support. But so I had a block party.
Yes. That someone didn't fucking attend.
A few weeks ago.
Again.
Like the block party, this is an East Coast phenomenon, I guess, or maybe they do it on the West Coast too, but I've never heard really of a, shutting, like in where I was from in Oklahoma and Missouri, you hated your neighbors, so you don't fucking talk to him.
Where I
but
come
here,
from.
they block off the streets, and it's like this throwdown all day. They got DJs and rides and all sorts of crazy shit. So I ordered this like cooler full of racks of buffalo ribs.
Yeah.
Right, from like bison, elk, ostrich. I had all sorts of crazy shit. I'm barbecuing, and here's the mistake I made, because parts of the evening were blacked out.
Why was that?
I started drinking at 4, and before anybody showed up, I was shit-faced.
I showed up at 7, and yeah, he was definitely.
But you know what? I have to say, what's nice is Danny came, and Danny shows up at your party shit-faced, which is awesome.
There's a little buzzing.
Yeah, and Reed can't be fucking bothered. Somebody was very upset that you didn't come.
Who's that?
My wife.
She
was looking very forward to having a couple drinks with you, a couple laughs.
Look, I explained it to you guys. I wanted to
I'd
meet your wife.
explain it to me.
No, I
She has a
said
crush on you, dude.
No, I want to meet your wife. It just that day, that was the same day as the Liberty State Park Festival over in New Jersey.
And who did you go see?
Radiohead.
Kings.
Nice. Are you going to put some gay sound effect on me? Come on, dude. You got to get your CD straight. No, come on. Kings of Leon up in there. The Roots. Anyone?
No.
Well, someone else met my wife and had really nice things to say about her.
Yeah, I have to say, when Danny's had a few drinks, boy, do the filters come down, because he comes to me slurring. He goes, Wayne's wife's fucking hot. And I go, yeah, I mean, would you think that, I mean, both Wayne and I have got really hot chicks.
Yes, we do.
And
Yes, we're lucky.
What sort of offended me is that Danny seems slightly surprised at that.
No, I don't think he was slightly surprised, but, at one point, me and Danny kind of left the area where people were partying and walked into the house, and thought we had a moment of manliness together, And he looks at me and says, Wayne, your wife is hot. And I turn around, I say, the chick he's dating is hot also, and, if there was...
My party almost turned into a swinger event.
Thing,
I was gonna say, did you guys
but
cross
Danny,
cocks?
here's the part I didn't know till the next morning, was that, my wife heard everything, because that's how loud we fucking were.
Oh,
yeah,
man,
you
really?
guys were so drunk, she heard everything you said, Danny.
But it was all good.
Well, I guess that's sort of embarrassing.
No, it really wasn't. She liked it.
But at the same time, now she knows I like her.
That's okay.
Right.
The person sitting next to you must know I like her.
Right, because for a long time, the chick that Danny hangs out with, Wayne, has made a lot of comments.
Sure, she's a very attractive woman,
right.
Danny. You're very lucky.
Yes.
I'd be open to some barters.
Oh, Jesus.
Unfortunately, I don't think they mean you have the power to barter.
Right.
Okay?
What is this? This is like a Mediterranean market in the 1300s. My woman for a blowjob from your woman.
And a camel.
Exactly.
a 2 beads.
Yeah, it was, but I think at some point I took Danny and showed him my studio. But,
You think? You don't
Which
remember?
was an honor, man. That was actually fantastic.
Danny,
It
if
was
you
really
only
cool.
know how many loads have been shot in that fucking studio.
By you.
No, by him.
Right. And we should also mention that a member of this, well, not a member, a person on this show, I should say,
Yes.
had a bit of a run-in with the New York Police Department for drugs and spent a night in jail.
Let's take a guess at who that person is.
Oh, go ahead and guess.
Whoa. Was it you?
Go ahead
it was
and guess.
Wayne, come on.
Nope.
No.
You serious?
How about the man whose first name starts with chemical?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we got a call from him. It was like on a Thursday. Dude, I've been in jail for a couple days. Like, oh, good. What happened? Yeah, evidently there was a bit of a police chase, and the cop car had to literally run him up onto a sidewalk.
In New York City.
In Queens.
Queens,
In
yeah.
Queens.
Yeah.
What was he doing?
He was racially profiled.
He's white. I've seen the guy.
No, but he had
What are
a.
you talking about?
He claims it because he had a black guy
in the
sitting
car.
with him,
Yes.
Oh, okay.
and he was. If you drive with a black guy in the car in Queens, then suddenly they pull you over and search you for drugs.
Is that how that works?
So yeah, that's it. That's his claim.
But he's literally scared straight.
Yeah.
It's like he comes to my house and smokes. He lays on the fucking floor so people can't look in the window and see him.
Yeah, it's made him a bit paranoid.
Yeah, but he still smokes.
He's out of the business, let's say it that way. He's
Well,
just gonna
dude,
be
once
regular Chris.
you go to trial and stuff, they usually start piss testing you after that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Yes.
dude, all he had was like an eighth.
I think
on him.
the real charge was though that he had a pipe on him. He smokes out of a pipe, and the pipe has to be tested that it didn't come up for.
And you have to
cocaine.
pay for the fucking
Yes,
test.
you have to pay for the test.
Oh,
Yeah, they go, oh, this is a crack pipe. So
Yeah.
now now you've got like Schedule 1
For you to prove
narcotics,
it, right.
like
Whoa.
years in prison.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he also the real charge is he fled from the cops.
No,
right?
Well,
he
he
wasn't
says
fled.
he says that he said that he wasn't fleeing. He was just driving really fast.
Well, away in the direction away from the cops.
Right.
I mean, how is that not?
I don't know. You know, in New York, ever since Giuliani, everybody talks about how great Giuliani was, but unfortunately, the cops in this city have such a hard-on for weed offenses.
Yeah.
I mean, it is really bad. Numerous friends of mine have been just pulled over and searched.
Really?
Which is what happened in his case. And I guess they thought he was driving a little too fast. They thought he was running. But dude, there's whole sting missions now. There's literally vans that drive around this city now because, you know, people would just smoke joints on the sidewalk or whatever. And they drive around till they get that van full, which is what they did with him.
Oh, yeah, he said he had to ride around for like 2 more hours in a pitch black van.
Unair conditioned,
Yeah,
like a
unair-conditioned,
Mexican.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, is that? I didn't think they could put you in jail for pot. You got to spend the night in jail for
Oh
that?
yeah,
Sure,
dude.
you have to go and see a judge.
That's the new world order.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in like 10 or 11 states of the union, like they've decriminalized pot, you know, and they've got the medical marijuana.
Yeah. It's not like they're falling apart either. Look
What?
at California. Ooh, look how backwards that place is.
What do you mean?
That's what I'm saying. It's so far ahead of the rest of us.
True. There's two Americas, my friend.
Yes,
There's
there
the
is.
East and the West Coast, and what is proving to be Obama is a Schwoogiville, which is the middle of the country.
Really?
Which we will get to that. But
you
and later
wanna-
on in the show, I've got this guy I was reading his book called Rapture Ready, and I was reading it at the beach, and I was laughing out loud. It was so hysterical. So I emailed the dude. What he did is he ran around wrote a whole book about Christian pop culture, like Christian theme parks. He went to all of them, and went to all the big Christian bookstores, like any kind of crazy event. So the Christian kind of Bonnaroo thing, and wrote this book. It's fucking hysterical. So he's going to be coming in at 10 o'clock. But yeah, dude, it's been some interesting shit's gone down in the last couple of months. Like I almost didn't make it to past my birthday, which was a week or two ago. I got into a bit of an altercation.
Yes. Oh, I forgot.
I got into
Already.
a bit of an altercation. It also involved alcohol.
Yeah.
Doesn't it always?
I'm at my crib.
Just minding your own business.
I'm at my crib, and I've had a few beers, but I want food, so I cannot drive. However, I can ride a bicycle. Right. so I'm riding a bike, about 7 or 8 blocks to the sushi place, which I had called in, and you know, a lot of people, we live in a beach community. We live a block from the beach. So, you know, there's a lot of people that come to our barrier island to go to the beach. And I'm going across an intersection. You know, there's no lights. It's just stop signs. I'm going through an intersection. And there's 4 chicks in like a late model 4-door Chevy. The chick driving's on the phone and just blows through the stop sign and nearly hits me. So I scream at the top of my lungs, "Oi!" Right? And she comes skidding, and the car stops right by my front tire, right? Mm-hmm. And then she just starts to drive off again. I don't get a fucking sorry. I don't get shit. Like, she nearly ran me over because she's on her cell phone, and she's got all her friends with her. So the adrenaline of nearly dying welled up in me and created an enormous amount of saliva in my mouth, which I then spit towards the car, and it was now driving around me, because it had almost hit me, without an apology. Perfectly projected saliva went in the windows and splattered all participants in the car, and they all shrieked simultaneously. So I bike about another block down. I'm on a one-way street. And the car had gone around the block and is now following me.
He's paranoid.
And I also might mention that these 4 girls were black.
Really?
So now I've
The
created this...
adrenaline's flowing even
Oh,
higher.
I've got this... Dude, they pull out and they jump out like something out of a fucking Spike Lee movie.
Gangbangers.
I'm like, I'm fucking dead. And one girl reaches under the seat, and I'm like, here it fucking goes. And she grabs an umbrella and throws it at me.
Did it hit you?
No.
Okay.
I mean, just such a shit shot. And now they're screaming at me. That was uncalled for. I'm like, bitch, you nearly fucking hit me. Get off your fucking phone. We're having this whole altercation. Like, people are coming out of their houses looking and shit. And I just kept on rolling, and we finally lost him. And then my chick informed me, by the way, you almost just got me killed. So if you could slide. And I'm like, I'm on the fucking edge, dude. I'm on the fucking edge.
You know what's wild about Laz is that I've seen this guy if something pisses him off and he sees you do it, he will confront you. And he doesn't think twice about the size, the color of the person. You will run your mouth.
Yeah. And here's the best part. I had this T-shirt that I have not worn in a long time. Where I went to college in Columbia, Missouri, there's a store, I think I've talked about it on the show before, called Liquor, Guns, and Ammo. And it's literally a gun store that is a liquor store as well. And so you could pick it all. So I've got this shirt on that says Liquor, Guns, and Ammo, and I reek of liquor. And I'm screaming at 4 people of color.
You didn't say nothing racial, did you?
No, not at all.
You bit your tongue. The racial, what did you say before made you have more saliva? Your adrenaline.
The adrenaline.
That held back on the N-word, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I would never do that, dude. But then I started, and people started being like, oh, dude, you can't even drive near the projects in this town anymore because they're all their boy. I'm like, oh, my God. And I get all paranoid and, yeah.
I thought it was funny that he got called out by 4 chicks.
Let's go to Alex in California.
Hey, Lazlow.
Hey, man.
Hey, I'm wondering why Reed goes on vacations with a weird group of people from Manhattan.
Yeah, that's a really good question. We were kind of wondering that ourselves.
Reed, you go on vacation?
What kind of setup is this?
Reed,
who is this guy?
probably just somebody that went to lazlow.com and read the dirt.
Yeah, exactly.
What are weird people? Who do you go on vacation with?
Well, what we found out about Reed just took a vacation, and he's taken numerous vacations and told me about them.
Yes.
He travels with a group of men, all strangely single. Wayne and I were wondering earlier over dinner if they all wear like Richard Simmons shorts. And it's all these men, and you just went to London with a bunch of guys.
Mm-hmm. We travel around
gallery
the world.
shopping. What were we doing?
We go around the world and we visit bathhouses. That's what we do.
All right, he's being honest.
No, we don't. You guys don't have friends. You've never gone somewhere with friends. Like I went to Las Vegas with these guys. We went skiing one time. We went to Prague.
Let me ask:
just
when you're making a 7-man train, is it hard in the middle? I mean, is it like because you've got a cock in your ass and you're trying to thrust at the same time? It's got to be a bitch.
Who should I go on vacation with? You two don't.
Well, here's the dude. You're
woman?
fucking hopelessly single.
I live in the basement of my mom's house. What do you want from me? Well, you
Listen
can't bring
to that.
a girl
He's
back
still going.
there.
He's trying to turn into his GTA 3 character.
Yeah. I thought that was Alex that lived with his mother in the basement.
He does live. Yeah, he does actually still live with his parents.
He does. Yeah.
But no, dude, come on. Here's the deal. You're in your 30s.
Yeah.
You got to stop hanging out with a bunch of fruits.
They're not fruits.
I'm sure they're not.
Oh, well, you're right. They don't have girlfriends either. All right. But not one of them made a move on me in the middle of the night.
Really?
No.
Well, that upsets you, then, I would say.
It's not like that, you know. What should I do? Go and stay at a hostel and meet...
There's no women involved in your life, in your single life?
No.
Not one.
There are more unmarried chicks in New York City than any other major city.
You know, they always say that, man, but are they the ones that you really want? They say that there's now more women in the world than men. It's like 52%.
Yeah, but instead of going on vacation with a bunch of chicks, you go with a bunch of dudes.
Well, yeah, you ever go on vacation with girls?
Sure.
Come on, give me one example.
With Wayne's girl?
Yes, but you're not going to make it with her.
No, I think there's only really one thing to say.
You are a nasty sissy!
Well, speaking of being a little bit feminine, Wayne is a very sort of tough guy. He scares people on the train because, I mean, he's got this enormous dreadlocked beard and he's built like a brick shithouse. But I find out the other day, his chick says, yeah, Wayne was Wayne was in the living room. And if you have any music from this, Danny, please pull it up. Wayne was in the living room, just blubbering like a girl, just crying like his cat's just been run over. And guess what movie he was watching?
Oh God, he told me this last time. He said he cries all the time. It's not Titanic, is it?
No.
I've been known to cry to Titanic, sure.
No.
Brian's song.
No, it was Bucket List.
Oh.
First off, he paid money to watch this movie.
Yeah.
You cried at bucket list?
This emotional things just, it's like, when I was single and I was younger, if I was with a chick, and I knew the emotional scene was coming, even if it was a movie I never seen, I had to get up and fucking leave. I had to miss that part because I would tear up. I'm a softie, man. Yeah.
You cried at bucket
She
list.
told him I cry at fucking Everyone Loves Raymond. I've seen the program.
Oh, that's right. That's what it was.
Times.
That's what it was. I remember he was telling us last time. He cried at Everybody Loves Raymond.
What else makes you cry?
I'm not...
Romantic moments with Big Wayne.
There's not a lot of real-life situations that make me cry.
Why don't you tell us about what in Bucket List?
I don't really remember what it was in Bucket List that really, to tell you the truth, that made me cry, but it was just an emotional movie in the end there, you know? And
because it goes, because of course they die at the end. I'm like, well, great, thanks for, if I ever wanted to watch a shit movie, then
yes.
This is incredible. And how do the women react?
See, I should be the one vacationing with 7 guys.
Hey, dude, we'll invite you next time. Where do you want to go?
No, don't
Wayne?
invite me.
The only thing is, the only place you ever go is Jamaica, so you can score weed.
Did it make you think of all the things that you should really do before you die?
Yes, it did. Yeah.
Yeah, what's on your bucket list, Wayne? 7 Guinnesses.
He wants to be able to smoke an entire pound in an afternoon.
Bang a girl that actually has a house.
Wow. Wow. At least I'm banging girls.
Yeah, exactly.
You fag.
So, did you like the music from Bucket List?
Yes,
Thanks for pulling that up.
He did pull it up fast.
That was nice.
Now, you're telling me neither one of you get a little emotional.
Did you ever see Brokeback Mountain?
No.
That's a...
Well, you seen that with the 7 guys, didn't you?
I did, actually. You know what? I swear to God, I did.
In a private screening,
Yes.
probably in your bedroom.
No, that's true. Holy shit. I need to confront my secret life, Lazlow.
You are
Dude.
gay.
We did go see it. But, okay, but when you start to cry at Everybody Loves Raymond or one of these movies, how do the women react?
It's just, I realized I'm with my wife 21 years.
No,
and,
I know.
Before that, I told her in the beginning, if I knew something emotional was going to happen, I left the room.
I know, but I'm saying when she catches you crying to a CBS sitcom, does she like, you're a pussy, and hit you, or does she think it's sweet?
She does kind of giggle a little bit, and then I tell her I must be getting my period.
But does she think it's sweet?
Of course she thinks it's sweet.
Do you then get some ass?
No, I gotta say, the tearing up doesn't exactly get your ass.
Okay.
Speaking of periods, I found this thing online. That I guess Disney did this documentary or short film in the 1940s that explains to women exactly what their period is. I guess it was a sex ed film from the 1940s that talks to girls about menstruation.
The time between periods is usually about 28 days. However, it may be shorter for some girls, longer for others. The flow itself may last anywhere from 3 days to 7.
Oof.
For just as the pituitary gland orders some girls to grow short, some tall, some heavy, and some slight, so its orders about menstruation may differ widely among normal women.
Some girls have an enormous pituitary gland.
Is this the magic mirror from Snow White that's actually delivering this?
I think so.
About menstruation may differ widely among normal women. The important thing is that you should be fairly regular within yourself.
And if you've missed one, go get a coat hanger.
I almost did that this week.
Oh. Dude, some things gotta stay.
I had a little scare this past week.
What are you... Again?
Again?
Dude, he won't get snipped.
I'm thinking about it, though. Now.
Dude, seriously, get snipped. It is so... I gotta tell you, Reed, you should probably get snipped, too. Because at this
guys
point...
will love it.
I can't get their ass pregnant anymore.
Right, exactly.
Be fairly regular within yourself. Of course, a girl may be irregular during the first year or so. Try not to throw yourself off schedule by getting overtired, emotionally upset.
Yeah, try not to get emotionally upset when you're on your period.
When your blood is gushing out of you for the first time in your life.
Right, thanks, Walt Disney.
Yeah.
Getting overtired, emotionally upset, or catching cold. And if your timing goes seriously wrong, or you're bothered with severe cramps,
You may want to fall down the stairs because... Because trouble is coming. You're going to be a fucking redneck like Daughter Palin. Mommy, thanks for cutting sex education in school. I'm 17 and knocked up.
you're wrong, or you're bothered with severe cramps or headaches. You should have a talk with your doctor.
Dr. Mengele. But this bet, the second bet, really confused. I guess there used to be a strange rumor back, I guess, at the early part of the century and before that women weren't supposed to bathe during their period, which kind of seemed like the time that you would want to bathe.
The booklet explodes that old taboo against bathing during your period. Not only can you bathe, you should bathe. Because during menstruation, your perspiration glands are working overtime.
Right, because you're fucking pissed at dudes for no reason.
Overtime. Just be careful to avoid either very hot water or very cold water. In fact, it's not a good idea at any time to shock your system with extremes, any more than to let yourself get chilled or to catch cold. And as for the old taboo against exercise, that's nonsense.
The best part is the cartoon now shows a girl bouncing up and down on a horse, and you keep looking for the red spot on the horse's back.
Against exercise, that's nonsense. Exercise is good for you during menstruation. Just use common sense.
I love it. And what's great is they wouldn't even, 40% of America wouldn't even have this conservative thing on anymore, because they're literally 40% of schools now teach abstinence-only education. They pull everybody in a room and say, don't fuck.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Working great.
And that's the story. There's nothing strange nor mysterious about menstruation. All life is built on cycles, and the menstrual cycle is one normal and natural part of nature's eternal plan for passing on the gift of life.
Yeah, do you mind can I return that gift, please? A couple of times I've actually returned it to the dumpster out back.
Gift of life.
I love these old shows, always have the greatest music.
It's so weird, too. You know, they talk about, and that old taboo against you have you ever heard of any of these? And that old taboo where you shouldn't wear a hat during your period. Let's toss that one out.
I don't know.
What? That's been, 60 years? Things have changed that much in 60 years?
I guess so.
That's crazy.
Did they even have, proper maxi pads and all that kind of stuff back then? I mean, what do? Do they just throw napkins down their pants? I mean,
they put them out in the birthing shed for 4 days. They couldn't bathe. They couldn't exercise.
The phone number, if you want to call into the Lazlow Show, it's 866-WOW-1-WOW or 866-969-1969.
What number did you just read?
What?
What number did you just read?
866-WOW-1-WOW.
I got 877.
Hey, what the fuck? What's wrong? No, I can't hear you when you just
She's saying you got it right. We got it wrong.
She typed she gave you the...
It's 866. She fucked up.
She had one job. Come on, dude.
She had one job, was to print out these things and hand...
That's not her own... Hey, listen, don't get on her.
Wow, how fucked up did you guys get at Anthony's house?
Jesus.
Fucking, they're slurring? Jesus Christ.
Actually, this show isn't even going out on the air. Danny hadn't even pushed the button yet.
Just so you know, it reminded me when I got into that altercation with those 4 girls that my nickname when I was a child was Spit Kid.
You're good, huh?
Yeah, when I was in elementary school, so the older kids called me Spit Kid.
I think you're quite lucky.
Because I just like to spit. I would just sit and spit.
Well, you're good at it if you can aim through the window, a moving car window.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, dude. We ought to enter you in a state fair somewhere.
Exactly.
Back in Oklahoma.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure the Oklahoma State Fair has something like that.
Right.
You can, there's a...
Well, sure, there's 6 other guys you know can spit very well, too.
Speaking of inappropriate things...
Really? It's going to be like this the whole night?
Wayne has in his on his computer, which watching Wayne click around on his computer is just I want to strangle him. It's like you've given a retard razor blades and glue and some Pepto-Bismol and a torch, and so but he saves all these weird photos onto his hard drive, and he's taken a lot of photos, and so I set it up so his screensaver is these photos. Well, his in-laws are staying over at his apartment a couple weeks ago, and he's got pictures of the porn. You know the porn shoot that we went to?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Piles of marijuana in Jamaica. And I said, why didn't you just turn the screen off? And he said, oh, it's just kind of, comedic value to look on my wife's parents' faces.
So wait, this is news to them? You guys go to Jamaica every year for like the last 20 years.
I see my family knows openly everything I have done, So I smoke a since I'm 12 years old. And everyone knows I smoke, but her parents, they can have the idea, but we don't talk about it. And when they come over, it's like serious withdrawals. I'll do anything to get the fuck out of the house.
Yeah, he comes over to fix my washer about 3 times. Every time his in-laws come over, he's like, can you call? And then he'll be like,
your car broke down again?
Yeah, your car broke down again, Lazlow? Yeah. He just comes over to my crib and gets baked. We should probably do a commercial and come back. We've got some, this R. Kelly audio is just...
It's truly unbelievable.
Dude, I guess he was on BET and they were asking him about why he likes teenage girls.
Yeah. It's just only in America, man.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, they like teenage girls elsewhere, but it's just like...
Yeah, but only in America you get away with it because you put out a soul record and you can pay for lawyers.
Oh, you urinated on a young girl?
Oh, really? On videotape?
Oh, but that song. No. Damn, you sing good, son.
In the closet. What the...
Let's do a quick break. This is the Lazlow Show. The website, lazlow.com. I guess there's a box set on there where you can buy every show that we've ever done, and Wayne and Reed sign little funny notes on it and all that kind of stuff. But we'll be back in just a bit.
The Lazlow Show.
Lazlow Show, episode 35. Website, lazlow.com. Big Wayne in the house, as well as Reed, who showed up late and is wearing a suit.
I look like I should be selling Bibles door to door or something.
And when I called you this morning,
yep.
Explain where you were in a room full of what?
Oh man, I had to go to my niece's birthday party, and
who goes to niece's birthday parties? Who gives a fuck?
She lives like 10 blocks away. From me.
And what was the theme?
This isn't going to help my case with the whole gay thing, is it? Dress up. Well, that's what little girls like to do.
So you said it was surrounded by a bunch of young girls in princess outfits.
Mm-hmm. But they were like 5, 6.
Oh, yes, this is the niece. I see. The one that possibly...
It's the one he loves like his own, right?
Right, yes. Okay. the thing that shall not be named.
2 nieces.
Oh. 2? You were busy. It's great how close your family is. I mean, that's so awesome. It's just you and your siblings. Because that's the way we were in the South. Share.
Were you?
Yeah.
Well, we weren't like that in the North.
In the North, listen to this.
You were just going to pawn off your wife on Danny.
That's different.
Right.
And
that's like a swap meet.
And Reed informs me that somebody who had a slight crush on Wayne was living at his fucking crib for the last month, and he didn't even tell us.
Who was this?
My sister.
Oh, she's back.
Mm-hmm. She moved up here permanently.
Wow.
Does she still have the dreadlocks?
No, she cut them off.
Oh, I don't like her anymore.
Yeah.
That sucks. No.
Well, no, she didn't like them.
Well, we're only into the Rasta chicks these days, dude. Me and Wayne, we're into the Rasta chicks. Did you send me the Southern Cooking Show? There's a lot of Southern, like, weird cooking show clips that I came across. One was, and this is a legitimate cooking show that's on in the South, where they were showing how to cook squirrel. And the woman and her son, first, if you do a cooking show in the South, you don't just take shit out of the freezer. You got to go kill it first. That's part of the show.
And skin it.
So, I mean, there are places where people legitimately eat squirrel.
My high school kid lunch table used to bring a squirrel sandwich to lunch every day. His dad, they would mess the wood pile. So he'd shoot the squirrels and they'd eat them.
They would mess the wood pile?
That's right.
These fucking rednecks.
Jesus Christ.
They mess the wood pile.
Right. So she takes her son out shooting.
But let's check our safeties. Yep, safety in. Mm-hmm. Where's your second safety? Up here.
Yeah, he points to his head. It's his second safety, which is completely absent.
See? Up here. Up here. All right, let's go hunt. All right. There he is. Come on, it's coming around the other side tree. I'm gonna get him. Go ahead.
It would be so great if he actually shot his mom in the face. Wouldn't that be the greatest show?
Then he'd be hunting beaver.
Yeah. Wow. And be honest, when you like deer hunting, elk hunting, all that kind of stuff. I mean, there's some definite skill in it. Like, you got to, go and hang out forever and find these animals. How is it difficult to find a squirrel? There's about 80 outside my house.
Right, and I feel like if you're going to shoot a deer, like the deer could turn on you and seriously do you some damage. What's the squirrel going to do? Squirrel turn on you?
Sing a Christmas song? I don't know.
Good shot, Justin. Only 5 minutes in the woods and you got one.
5 minutes, which means they walked out in the backyard and started shooting shit.
Great job, Angel of Death.
Right.
You rain down fury on small woodland creatures.
Minutes in the woods and you got one. Great job. I saw him coming. You're going to put some meat in the freezer this year.
I saw him coming, like he was being attacked.
He had it coming.
Right, exactly.
You're going to put some meat in the freezer this year, I think. I promised him a squirrel sandwich, and that is...
Now we're in the kitchen, by the way. She promised him a squirrel sandwich.
How much meat is on a squirrel?
That is what he's going to get after squirrel. You've heard of tuna melts or patty melts. Why not squirrel melts?
Because it's disgusting. And because they carry crazy diseases.
Yeah. Patty melts. Why not squirrel melts? Well, this is Justin's.
Because it's not 1802. I mean, I've got like a million answers for this crazy woman. Because there's a fucking grocery store down the street.
Exactly.
That has like clean meat. There was a whole epidemic in the South where people were eating squirrel and they were getting like kind of a weird mad cow disease, kind of like brain worm thing that was.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's like some kind of weird like worm would crawl out of your ear like Wrath of Khan. It was, I don't know.
Well, this is Justin's squirrel. It's a nice, young, tender squirrel, and we're going to start by poaching this. I've got some simmering water. He's kind of cute. I'm going to put his little tender butt in there. Now, when it's all done and cooled, you want to pick all the meat off the bone and shred it.
Dude, this is a fuck ton of work. For an after-school snack.
For half a taco or whatever this thing's going to make.
Go to Taco Bell, bitch.
Then cooled, you want to pick all the meat off the bone and shred it. And I've got some already done here. I've got probably about a cup and a half of meat.
That's how much meat.
Now, I'm adding pecans. You can use, again, what kind of nut you like. Cashews work really well, but I like pecans.
I love the pecans.
You know how squirrels like nuts.
Yeah, I think they like nuts, but not on their ground-up flesh.
Right.
Yeah, what a great compliment.
And then to that, just add some mayo. This makes a nice weekend snack, maybe while watching a football game, or you can take it to a tailgate party.
Or a cross burning.
We're just going to get these on some English muffins now. Oh, and it smells good. I'm sure this is good cold, too. And there they are, squirrel melts. These are really nutritious, tasty, perfecto.
And this is why Sarah Palin is going to be our next president, ladies and gentlemen.
Sounds exactly like her, man.
Yes, exactly. This is why we are doomed.
We really are.
We are doomed. People are eating rodents, yes. and they're not on a ship with scurvy. Jesus Christ.
Man, yeah, well, I don't think, there can't be that many people out there who will kill and eat and shred a squirrel.
I'm sure there are a fucking lot.
You think?
Yes. If there's a program on tell you how to fucking cook it, it's like a trend.
Exactly.
That's true, actually. That's true.
By the way, this afternoon, the channel that we broadcast on, XM202, for 4 hours was off the air. They were just playing this loop that said, we'll be back, because we're broadcasting a football game.
Shortly.
They take the bandwidth away from this channel and they give it to another channel because there's only a fixed limited amount of bandwidth on the satellite. So I asked, Wayne tells me about it. And he goes, they're probably doing some maintenance. I'm like, what kind of maintenance do they need to do? He's like, they're probably changing the filters. And I said, yes, they did.
I didn't say change.
They said cleaning the filters. I go, it's not an air conditioner.
Right, it's not a snowmobile.
And they don't fly up to the satellite with a duster.
Right, there's all this data that gets trapped in there. You gotta hose that shit out.
How do you think this works,
dude?
When we talk into these microphones, how is it across America and Canada?
Just what I didn't explain myself was to say that maybe everything's on a computer and it kind of needs to be like spring cleaned.
Yeah, they were running Norton antivirus for 4 hours on the Dell PC down there in Washington.
This isn't my industry. You want a house built, I'm there for you. Okay? And even then, we're changing filters.
I have to say, I had to wait in line at the Apple store because my chick and I, she wanted to get an iPhone. And what's awesome about the Apple Store is designed for fruits like Reed that are really excited by lots of open space and white things. And they've got these weird sort of glass stairs that go up, and they had the line that was waiting around on the side of the stairs. So you're sitting there waiting to go ahead and get the iPhone. And as chicks are walking up these stairs on the glass steps, dude, it was upskirt central. I was furious when the fucking line moved because it...
Question.
Yeah.
You have a phone. You didn't take not one fucking picture.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's kind of...
Tacky.
Well, yeah.
That's right up your alley.
Somebody would see your
Spitting on
ass.
4 black chicks.
That happens at the subway station, though, all the time.
Yes.
You know, in the dead of summer, they have some seriously steep and long
Yes.
subway stairs, and these girls have these short skirts on, and you can just see... right up to heaven.
Yeah. But what happens now is people take shots and there's whole websites of
It's such a weird like porno underground, isn't it? The whole upskirt thing. Wouldn't you want to see the whole thing instead of just like a flash of somebody's underwear?
By the way, I think I found something that ups Danny, because Danny, who is the sort of producer of our show here, is into really weird porn. I found some the other day of 2 sort of handicapped people having sex. Have you seen that one where the guys they have to put him in a swing, like the caregiver puts one guy in a swing?
I don't know if I've seen that. I have seen amputee porn.
I've seen amputee porn.
So I'm thinking that's probably a little more hardcore than whatever you got.
Dude, they showed it to me. My eyeballs caught on fire.
Wait, did they penetrate each other with their stumps, or how does that work?
No, I didn't. No,
I have seen amputee sex
that's in
like
the
that.
amputee porn,
Yes, I seen one, and an opening line was "Watch so and so stump the stars." So you're not really thinking about it, and later on, it's like the fucking calf.
Really?
The ankle to the calf is going to town, man.
So does that turn you on?
No, that's not.
No, but he's into trannies now.
And baby arms.
I do it all. I gotta say, I jump around a lot from the internet.
You're now into trannies?
I check it all out. It's all there for the taking.
Dude, when I was down in Soho by the Apple Store, and I saw this black dude walking through, and you know, in New York, you still will have people with boom boxes sort of cruising down the street, you know, blasting out a record, like it's the 80s or whatever. This dude, and you know, a lot of times they will put it on their shoulder, like old school, because I mean, you can still see people breakdancing in this town. This guy had, you know, those Bose iPod docks? He had one on his shoulder.
Oh, man.
And I was like, dude, you are not hard with a $400 overpriced Bose sound dock, iPod dock on your shit. Like, yeah, look at me. I'm on shuffle, nigga.
What was coming out of it, though?
Hip hop.
Oh, what?
Yeah, he was playing hip hop, but I guess he didn't want to go for the. Maybe that's what they do now. Is they throw like a Bose sound dock down and some cardboard and start popping some windmills. You don't really come across as broke when you got $600-700 worth of electronics out there on the street. Let's go to Chris. Chris, you're on the Lazlow Show.
Hey, Lazlow.
Hey.
I figured I'd call in and let y'all make fun of me. I have eat squirrel. Like, I know it's hard to believe with the accent. But what they didn't show is how hard it is to clean. It's a lot easier to clean, say, a rabbit than it is a squirrel.
And why is it so hard to clean? Because it's the size of a...
Like on a rabbit, when you say you kill it, you cut its head off and your feet off, you can just slide your hand right in between the fur and the meat, and it just slides right off. On the squirrel, you got to get pliers and pull, and it's hard to... It ain't even worth it for a little bit of meat there.
Do you ever do like a little puppet show when you're fisting this small animal?
Well, I mean, you got to cut its stomach up. You know, you cut it from asshole to elbows first, and then try to, you know, it's kind of like dissecting a frog when you're in high school.
Well, see, and what's great is, you know, we make fun of the people that can, you know, eat off the land like that, but when the apocalypse comes, which will be next year after the McCain-Palin ticket, and the stock market crashes, and we're all living in some kind of post-apocalyptic nonsense, it will be the people in the South who know how to catch food and grow food, and it will be us pantywaists here on the East and West Coast who are shrieking and dying.
Lazlow, I got you covered.
All right, dude. Sort me out with some squirrel.
I got rabbits, squirrels, I got chickens, I got you covered.
You should, you know, freeze something and send it to Laz, because he'd definitely check it out. He likes a lot of weird shit.
I like ostrich.
Ostrich was good.
Ostrich.
I don't have ostrich, but my neighbor's got some ostrich, and about three houses down got llama. I ain't never eaten none of that, but we will if we have to.
Dude, tonight go over there and just slit one's throat.
I say bang the llama first.
I'll do it and I'll send you a video.
Thanks, man.
Scary.
That's your neighbors from the south.
Yeah. Holy shit.
That was Sarah Palin's husband right there.
Fucking cuckoo.
But that is true, dude. When the apocalypse comes, I'm going to be knocking on that dude's door with trying to trade a gallon of gas and my sister's virginity for like some squirrel.
You're going to lie about that?
My grandmother told me stories of the Dust Bowl and when Wall Street collapsed. It's the same shit that's happening now, bro.
I know.
When the government comes in and buys banks, it's like 5 major companies have been purchased and underwritten.
Yeah.
And there's more coming.
But doesn't that piss you off that these assholes sit up in their offices and they make bad decisions and then we all got to pay for it?
Dude, they made hundreds of millions of dollars.
This asshole at Lehman Brothers made like $22 million in bonus last year.
Yeah.
He still got his house. He still got everything. He still got his boat.
But it's the middle class taxpayers that got to bail these fools out.
Revolution.
Yeah, and meanwhile, our ass is in hawk to China.
Right.
Who do you think borrowed the money? Where did we get the money for the Iraq War? We borrowed it all from fucking China. But you mentioned to people that they may have to pay some taxes, so we're not fucking speaking Mandarin in a few years. And they're like, I ain't paying no fucking taxes. It's like, well, what are you gonna do?
Right. Yeah, no. These people, they got no problem taking Social Security. They got no problem taking Medicare. But then when you got to pay for it, they're like, oh, screw that,
dude. Remember 2 or 3 years ago when McCain and Bush were pushing like hell to privatize Social Security? Do you realize how many people this week would have been completely fucked?
Yes, exactly.
Lost their entire retirement.
Yeah.
If Social Security was privatized.
Terrible.
But keep deregulating the banks, keep deregulating the financial industry. It'll all work out.
Yeah,
because the market will provide.
Seriously, dude. I've never seen so many, especially in this city, you notice it so much. There's so many people at the top, so many rich people, and nothing can touch these people, man. They're just completely...
Right.
I just hate it, and there's so many poor people.
The major icons of American capitalism are failing.
Yeah.
And McCain goes on TV and says, oh, the economy is sound.
Yeah, great.
Good. Meanwhile, it's like the dollar's like the peso in most fucking places.
I know, seriously.
They laugh at it.
Yeah. I go to Europe, I gotta pay for everything with blue jeans. That's the only thing they'll take over there.
Really?
You got Levi's? It's like the third world, dude. But I feel like it needs a correction, because you know some of these banker dudes. I went to high school with some of these guys that work up here, and they're like, oh man, it sucked last year. It was so down, I only got an $800,000 bonus.
Right. Meanwhile, people are working for fucking $10 an hour, you asshole.
Something needs to happen, dude.
I know. And they come out... They come out and say, we're only going to raise taxes on people that make over $250,000.
Right.
And all the Republicans are like, he's going to raise taxes. It's like, yeah, on you.
Right.
Exactly.
You, who has the 2 houses down in Miami and the house in Dominican Republic, and John McCain got 9 houses.
I know.
9.
He doesn't even know how many houses
he is so clueless. And Palin looks like Dr. Melfi from The Sopranos. Every time.
Come on, you have to say you haven't thrown out a little shuffle.
Fuck no.
Really?
No.
Wow.
She's scary, dude.
She is fucking batshit.
She's crazy.
Do you know that this woman now in Alaska, she makes people who were raped pay for their own rape kits?
Right.
Why? Because she's fucking cuckoo. She is so wacky religious that if you are raped, you have to finance your own rape kit and tests because part of the rape kit, which by the way, Alaska's got more rapes per capita than any other state. Because who doesn't want to fuck an Eskimo?
What's all that meth they do? They get all high on meth and they're like, I'm going to rape someone.
Right.
more rapes and equal more meth labs.
Right. Well, I got to be honest, dude. The way that they say hello up there, because I went to Alaska, and they come up and they rub noses with you, and then you just got to fuck them. Yeah.
Did you get somebody rub noses with you?
Dude, that's how the Eskimos say hello.
Yeah, but not the Eskimos.
Oh.
You went to Alaska.
I went up there and went fishing.
I know, I remember, but I'm saying the regular people, that's the way? Did somebody actually rub noses with you?
No, they just pulled out their junk.
Gave you a
but yeah,
sandwich.
because part of the rape kit involves emergency contraception, and she is such a cuckoo right-wing nutter.
Her daughter didn't have one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And meanwhile, they're shotgun marrying this Levi dumbass.
Right.
This guy, dude, he's like a deer in headlights.
Oh,
man.
yes.
She wants only abstinence education taught in all the schools.
Yeah.
Dude, she is batshit. And if people go and vote for that fucking cuckoo, especially with what's happened the last 8, look what happened to the FCC, dude. Look what Opie and Anthony have to fucking go through.
Right.
I mean, look at how, like, everything's turning into a conservative Christian Disney movie.
Yeah.
But you know what? Go ahead. Pull that fucking lever. Because it's only going to get worse. Pretty soon, yeah. Dude, if they get in, Opie and Anthony will be reading, like, Christian Bible verses during the fucking show.
I know, and what's so scary is I feel like if McCain wins, he's the only president in my lifetime I can remember that I feel like, yep, that dude is going to die in office.
Right.
That dude is absolutely going to die in office. He can't even lift his hands.
Right.
He's had cancer like 4 times. He's 70-some years old. There's a good chance that
you
he
don't
easily
think
die.
that there's some crazy white guy want to take Obama out just to be...
Well, that's true, but if Biden has to step in, I feel a little better about that than Palin.
Somebody, when you talk about foreign policy, that's like, yeah, I can see Russia from my house.
Oh, great.
I can see Russia from Alaska. It's like, oh, good. Let's have her over trying to keep a nuclear war from happening with fucking Russia. What's she going to go... You know, it's like that one thing I saw where it is like a bad Disney movie, like, oh, shucks, and it'll show her in the White House, and there's all kids running around crazy. You guys stop. I've got the premiere from China coming over.
Trig, Trog, what are the kids' names?
I don't know.
Oh, my God.
Since we are getting into the sort of religion stuff, we should get our next guest in here after the break. His name is Daniel Radosh, and he wrote this book that is hysterical, very even-handed book, I have to say, that just sort of analyzes the weird universe of Christian pop culture. Like anything that you have in normal pop culture, they've made a Christian version of it, including Christian raves, which are hysterical. This book is hysterical. We'll get him in a minute. This is the Lazlow Show, the website, lazlow.com. We always post the entire show. Actually, our last show is still posted up there if you want to go download that. We'll be back right after this. Lazlow Show, episode 35. I called it the Jesus Rode a Dinosaur episode because I love that Sarah Palin thinks that Jesus rode a dinosaur around.
There's a Christian museum out in the middle, in the Midwest somewhere. Do you know about this, Daniel? Where they actually have cavemen riding dinosaurs.
It's out in Kentucky, northern Kentucky.
That's right, northern Kentucky.
I was there.
Yeah. So basically, I picked up. I don't know where online I read about this, or maybe one of the chapters ended up in the New Yorker or something. I don't.
Yeah, that's right.
It cracked me up, this chapter in the New Yorker, and I bought the book, and I was at the beach, and I was just reading passages from it out loud to Wayne and everybody on the beach while they were stoned out of their minds, and everybody...
That's how I wrote it.
Right.
And what is the book called?
It's called Rapture Ready, Adventures in the Parallel Universe of Christian Pop Culture, and... I mean, it's really thoroughly researched, and you must have flown all over the United States.
Yeah, I spent a year going around the country to Christian rock shows, comedy shows, bookstores, theme parks, raves, pro wrestling, Christian pro wrestling.
Dude, the chapter on Christian pro wrestling is fucking awesome.
I'm gonna pull the crucifix on you. What are some of the wrestlers' names?
Rob Adonis is the main guy, and I actually asked him if he gets in any trouble. Because his name is actually a Greek god, and I was wondering if any of the serious hardcore Christians would be upset by that. And he thought about it, and it never occurred to him. So I guess the answer was no. But the whole idea about Christian pro wrestling is that, do you just turn the other cheek when somebody hits you?
Right. Well, how is regular pro wrestling un-Christian is what I don't understand.
Well, it's actually, it kind of gets at a lot of what this Christian culture is like. On the one hand, what they just want to do is the same stuff that everybody else does, only without the cursing and without the sex, which regular pro wrestling has a lot of. And then on the other hand, they want to kind of spread a Christian message. So really, I loved pro wrestling growing up. I watched a lot of it. And, it's not really about the fights. It's about the stories. They're good guys and they're bad guys. So these folks tell stories that have a kind of Christian message to them. They're about, somebody who is struggling with their faith and, their wife or their partner turns on them or something. And instead of just having a, discussion about it, they beat each other up.
So, and also, isn't now there's the bad guys. the bad wrestlers, and they haven't given their heart to Jesus.
That's right, and they try to Pontius Pilate.
Right.
Come out.
Right. It's like, yeah, you haven't given your heart to Jesus, I'm going to clothesline you.
That's what it is. And it actually, I got to say, it doesn't work. And I say that with some surprise because a lot of the stuff that I thought wouldn't work actually kind of does. I mean, you can sort of see where they're coming from, or I could after spending some time with these folks. And not that I would agree with it all the time or most of the time. But, once you sort of listen to people and talk to them about it and hear, from their perspective, you can kind of see, what they have in mind when they do this stuff. It's not all completely crazy.
Yeah, that's what I liked about the book is that it doesn't just say, look at these crazy Jesus freaks. It wasn't all about that. I mean, there's
although there's a lot of that. I mean, I don't want to scare off, your listeners who are, well, I want to read about these.
Yeah, I mean, there's one of the reasons it's so funny, but I mean, I think you had a really even-handed approach in talking to these people. And one of the greatest things is Daniel is Jewish. And he'd be in the deep South, and they would say, they'd always ask, have you taken Jesus Christ as your Savior? And he said, well, I'm Jewish. And the reactions are hysterical.
Because I was afraid that, Jew, you killed Jesus. Well, that is not what I got at all. Whoa, we love the Jews. You're one of the
chosen people.
Yeah, we're only adopted into the family, but you are the family. So they had this real sense of like Christians as the big brothers to or as Jews to the big brothers to the Christians, and really kind of looked up to Jews, although in a strange way because most of these people had never really met any Jews.
Right.
So they had
there's not a lot of Jews.
Below the Mason-Dixon line, you don't exactly say that.
Right. Well, but they like sort of in the abstract, they really love the Jews, but their idea of what Jews are about are the ancient Hebrews of the Bible.
Right.
And then
they thought you should have flowing robes.
Yeah. Well, they know that, and then they know what the prophecy says. Jews, how Jews will be involved when Jesus comes back at the end of days, and then the 2,000 years in between there, they're not so interested in that.
Oh, and they love the rapture, boy. That last book of the Bible with Revelations, they got whole movies. The Left Behind series, which I guess is the largest.
You could argue that those are the best-selling authors of all time. I mean, they're certainly up there with Harry Potter and Tom Clancy.
And when I was in this fundamentalist church in the South, they would show some of these movies to us where everybody disappeared.
Thief in the Night, right?
Yeah, and blood would come out of the faucets, and everybody's running around getting 666 on their forehead, and somebody had an Ozzy Osbourne record at some point. It was insane.
But I'll tell you something. Now, when was that? When would that have been?
That would have been in the late 70s, early 80s.
So here's the interesting thing. Those movies, at the time, they scared the shit out of people, and that's largely what they were designed to do. They were designed to scare kids into both into believing what they were taught and then into getting their friends to believe it. But the ultimate message of it was, you feel sorry for the people who are left behind, that you want to save your friends because it's going to be really hard for them if they're not caught up in the rapture, and they're going to go to hell. And the message of it, even though it's kind of twisted, it's one of sympathy for the non-believer. Well, that has shifted. So the Left Behind books, they don't really feel sorry.
No, they're like, fuck them.
Yeah, they're like, the whole point of those books is just, watch those, just murder those people, you kill them, and Jesus comes back, and then he kills them, and it's really bloody and violent, and it's this weird kind of political, religious revenge fantasy.
Yeah, and he goes to this big international Christian retail show where all the, what's called Jesus junk.
They call it Jesus junk.
Yeah, they call it Jesus junk.
Word, yeah.
All the funky products that are sold, now in the Walmarts and in Christian bookstores are there. And the list of stuff that you went around and checked. I like the candles that smell like Jesus.
Right. What does Jesus smell like?
Well, there's actually a verse in the Bible that, says he approached, scented of myrrh and whatever. And so somebody saw this verse and said, oh, we can put that into candles. And that was actually just, a mom and pop out in Oklahoma somewhere. And they made a fortune selling these things. And that's the kind of thing everybody wants to have the next His Essence candles, they're called. So you get these people who put out gospel golf balls. There are golf balls with Bible verses on them. The idea being that if you lose one, at least you're spreading the word. And my favorite thing about the gospel golf balls is that there's an endorsement by a pastor on the box that says, these golf balls are the most effective outreach tool I've ever seen in golf.
Yeah, you're really working hard to spread the word of God when you're fucking around on the golf course with your buddies.
Right. It doesn't really tell you much about Christianity or what Jesus believed, other than that, you're not a very good golfer.
And they had the refrigerator magnet that said "Pray for America" on it, and the back says "Made in China."
Sweet.
And I liked the Christian hunting stuff. I guess there's a Christian outdoorsman company.
Yeah, sure.
That I guess they're
Hunt for Jesus, right?
Yeah, be a camouflage Christian, hunt for God.
Well, how is hunting, again, how is regular hunting unchristian?
Well, it's not necessarily that the things that you are sort of appropriating are unchristian by themselves, but you are trying to give it an extra Christian twist. And to me, a lot of people are really critical of this, including a lot of Christians. They say they're trying to spread the word. I don't think it's so much about that, because
trying to make money.
Well, the people who make the products are trying to make money. I'm thinking of the people who wear them. And I think a lot of it is, you want to identify with your tribe. It's not too different from, look, you guys are both wearing Rockstar T-shirts,
right,
from Rockstar Games, because you want people to know, I'm part of this tribe, and, we think it's cool, and, I'm not going to go around telling everybody, hey, dude, I work for Rockstar, maybe you do, I don't know.
Well, Wayne's only wearing that because it's free and he can't afford anything else, to be honest with you.
Or like, if you...
We'll let that one go.
But like the metalheads in school will wear the Ozzy Osbourne T-shirts, and then the burnouts will wear their Grateful Dead T-shirts, and it identifies you as part of a group, and it's a sort of a way of showing that and that kind of.
But it's so weird how they will take things, like let's say rock and roll, which was created by drugs and sex, but they've made Christian rock, and he said you went to this Christian rock festival, and people are upset if a band doesn't stop several times during their set and pray.
Right.
Wow.
That's how I got into it. This whole thing. I went to a Christian rock festival with a distant sister-in-law, and one of her friends comes running up after one of the performances. And he says, "Dude, that was an awesome set. They prayed like 3 times in 20 minutes." And that's how you're judging? But the interesting thing is that as I went through that, as I spent the year talking to all these folks and going to more and more places, I realized there's a lot of diversity of opinion about this kind of stuff. And there's a lot of Christians who were appalled by that kind of attitude, who really thought, you know what, if you're making rock and roll just because you want to spread a message, that's, you're making a TV commercial. You're making propaganda. That's not rock and roll. And that's not what God wants either. If God is the creator and we are, as Christians, are to emulate the creator, our job is not to, spread his message. Our job is to be as creative as we can. So I actually did hear, I got to say, a lot of good Christian rock. It's changed a lot in the 25 years since Stryper was the best.
Jars of Clay.
Yeah.
No. I mean, that's the thing. Like, there's actually stuff out there that I still listen to, and not as a Christian. And because you know why? It's not trying to sell Christianity. It's not trying to say, here's why you should be a Christian. It's just a guy saying, here's what I believe, and here's how it helps, what it makes me see the world as. And that's not always good. It's not always like, in bad Christian rock, if there's a problem, God wraps it up in a nice ribbon at the end of the 3.5 minutes. In good Christian rock, these people struggle, and they're saying what they believe, but they're not trying to pretend that it makes everything all perfect. And they're not even trying to say you should believe it too. It's just, kind of from the heart. And honestly, if you listen to U2 or Johnny Cash, they're doing the same thing. And so there's some stuff out there like that.
These are the people that made me tear up my Duran Duran cassettes, though, because they said it was from Satan.
Yeah. Have you ever been on like a long road trip, in the car, and you're just flipping around the channels, and all of a sudden you find something, you're like, yeah, that's kind of rocking, and then you realize like 2 minutes into the song, you're like, shit,
right, it's Christian rock. I know. Then you have to take a bath.
I know.
Right, you're like, he's not singing about a girl.
No, right.
He's singing about Jesus.
What is this light he's talking about?
But I think sort of the commercialization of religion is really what the book talks about, and when you talk about the abstinence stuff, the panties, fucking, I was hysterical.
Well, they make this, to sell a political message and a social religious message like abstinence. they have what they call weight wear, which is clothing that, is designed to spread this message that you should wait until marriage. And one of the things they have is thong underwear with a stop sign on the front. And that really struck me. That's like, if you can read this, you're too close.
Right, exactly. And all the different T-shirt slogans, like the one that says "sex causes babies."
Yeah.
And also you sort of talk about the promise rings, which they're talking about this on the major news things now. The promise rings. Because I guess there was that band that
the Jonas Brothers.
Yeah, the Jonas Brothers.
And, Jordan Sparks.
And it got me to thinking about. Reed told me one time about and similar to a promise ring. Sometimes when you have that ring rubbing on your junk that a girl's wearing, but I believe it wasn't a promise ring though, was it?
It was an engagement ring.
It was an engagement ring, and it was rubbing against your junk, and you weren't engaged to her, were you?
That is true. No, you haven't lived though till
you feel that big diamond scratching your dick.
Exactly, dude. When that rapture comes, I'm going to be left behind. I promise you that much, man. Just from that one night. But, haven't they done studies, maybe you know, Daniel, about these people who do take these pledges or have these rings, that they're more likely to get pregnant and more likely to have sex than just regular people?
They're certainly not any less likely.
Yeah.
There's different studies that find different things, but the bottom line is, it doesn't help. Every bit of evidence says that Christian kids have just as much sex as any other kids. Maybe the difference is they feel more guilty about it.
Or they know what a condom is.
Right.
Well, Sarah Palin's daughter?
Yeah.
I know. We're doomed. Don't you think we're doomed, Daniel?
Doomed is a little strong. Ask me again in 48 days.
Right. And this is something that I've come from a very religious family, and I had an aunt who was telling me that she's really getting into Christian romance novels, which I was like, do they hold hands?
Yeah, well,
but what do they do? And there's a whole chapter in here because I guess, these Christian romance novels sell like gangbusters, but there's this intense list of words that I guess the publisher gives the authors that you can't say in the book,
right.
Including darn. Yeah. Darn is not acceptable. What are some of the other ones?
Well, these books are really, intended for the most conservative Christian readers. And
you can't say geez or gosh.
Right, so it's all kind of lowest common denominator in the sense that if there's anyone who would possibly be offended by it, we don't put it in there. So you don't have Christians dancing. Right. Because, now most Christians dance.
Right.
But there are some who don't, and they're not going to buy these books.
And you can't say the word breast except for breast cancer.
Oh, good.
That's okay.
Which belongs in a romance novel. So really, though, Daniel, what does happen? I mean, how do you have?
Did you read any of these Christian romance novels?
I skimmed a few.
Well, so what does happen? I mean, they can't get together. They can't make out. They can't.
They usually end in a wedding, and then the rest is kind of implied. There's courtship, and there's they're typical sappy stories. What's kind of more interesting is the newer strain of Christian chick lit, which are the kind of Bridget Jones books for Christians, and they don't have quite as many restrictions on them. They can drink in these books in moderation.
Yeah.
Nothing better than a Christian slut.
Yeah. A drunk one.
Right, exactly.
But the difference is that the sort of more traditional ones, that's the kind of attitude that people who want to read romance novels, but they want them to be safe. They don't.
This list is hysterical. Dag nabbit. You can't say.
Or that offends God. Dag nabbit.
Devil, dang, dag nabbit, duty, father, when used to describe a religious official, because Catholicism is a no-go for some people.
Really?
Fiend, for heaven's sake. Can use for goodness sake instead. For the love of Mike.
Who says for the love of Mike? Who the fuck is Mike?
Mike?
Right.
Oh, Jesus.
For the love of Mike Tyson.
You can't mention underwear. You can't have nudity. I love that you can't have nudity, including people changing clothes on screen.
And nobody. Yeah,
it's a book.
It's like a sitcom. Nobody ever goes to the bathroom.
And even so, there are people who are morally offended by these, who believe that these Christian romance novels are just are Satan's way of tricking people into. So whatever there is, there's always someone out there who's more extreme.
And there's also Christian sex help books.
Yeah,
and
really?
He told me that the the websites for this, or the message boards, are hysterical. Where these people are debating, like, I'm a good Christian woman. Is it okay for me to take anal?
What is the answer?
Oh, you're married.
Yeah. So if you're married, it's okay.
But people are like, maybe we should turn to the Bible and see if in Ephesians they talk about taking it in the...
Come on, there's nothing about anal beads in the Bible or some shit. Where my husband wants to piss in my mouth. Where should I?
Well, it's funny because people really will debate this stuff, and the internet, as it has with everything else, has sort of eroded the authority of the Christian gatekeepers. So for years, there have been people publishing these books. Tim LaHaye, the guy who does the Left Behind books, first became famous among Christians for putting out a marriage manual with his wife that was essentially how Christians should have sex.
And it's very much about a woman should submit to her husband, just like it says in the Bible.
That's right. That's right.
And it also says you can't lay with a woman who's on her rag.
That's right. She's out in the birthing shed for 4 days.
I gotta say, I don't think Tim LaHaye says that.
But that's in the Bible.
Well, right. And that's how they always have these, there's always something gradually gets changed. And now a lot of the stuff that's in that book, like in that book, from the 50s, 60s, I guess, oral was out. You could not have oral sex.
Even married? You couldn't have oral?
No, because it's degrading and it's,
right.
The subtext is it's what the gays do. I'm dead serious. Well, now that has completely changed, and every current Christian sex book is absolutely go for it. You got to try it. I mean, it's totally awesome. But they're still at that stage with anal where they're like, no, that's degrading. And they try to say, well, it's not because of the gay thing, but clearly that's what it is. So 20 years from now, all the Christian sex books will be.
But in the book, he talks about how it gets even weirder, where, like, I'm a good Christian woman. Is it okay for me to use a strap-on on my husband?
And so that's what happened. Is you have all the authorities who are still like handing down the law. No, you cannot do this. No, you cannot do that. But Christians are going online and they're forming their own communities where they don't want, to hear just what the authorities say. They want to kind of hear what the other people in their community are saying, and it's a lot looser. And there will be, the strap-on question. And, somebody says, well, the way I see it, if God gave my husband this prostate that could only be reached by me strapping on a dildo and shoving it up there, then maybe that's what I'm supposed to do. And there'll definitely be some people that say, no, you're misreading your Bible. But there are a lot of other people who will say, that makes sense to me. So it's kind of, the more kind of adventuresome Christians, and it's not just about sex, it's about, a whole way of viewing the world. There are a lot of people out there who are really kind of rejecting the heavy-handed authoritarianism of the religious right and saying that's not what Christianity is about. That's not what Jesus is about. And this was a surprise to me. I did not expect to find really that much stuff. It's still a minority, definitely, but it's more vital and it's more interesting and it's attracting younger people. And again, I'm not just talking about the sex stuff. I'm talking about like Christian rock that sort of has that sort of liberal message, or Christian comedy that's, a little more making fun of other Christians and making fun of the church. And that's, kind of interesting phenomenon.
You ever seen Lutherans? They can't dance. You ever seen a Lutheran try to dance? Like, what?
Christian comedy?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of it is pretty bad. I mean, but a lot of any comedy is pretty bad. I'll tell you one Christian joke I like. There's this guy who calls himself Nazareth, who...
of course he does.
That's not forbidden.
Right.
He's got this joke about how his infant daughter sleeps all day and then she cries all night. He says, I'm pro-life, but not at 2 a.m. That was pretty good.
Cheep, cheep.
Cheep, cheep. I thought it was funny.
What about the Christian raves? Because as a person who used to work in a company in the Midwest where we had raves in like St. Louis and Chicago and all these, they were, there was always an overdose at every one of these things. And they were drug-fueled messes. And they always have glow sticks at raves, yes, right. But at Christian raves, they have glow crosses.
True. My favorite thing about the Christian raves is that they don't always call them raves, they call them DJ-led worship. That we're not here just to dance, and we're here to worship through dance, and the DJ is like the minister who's spinning the prayers, which are techno music. It's interesting to me. I mean, these are definitely it's a small group. they're more kind of, breaking the traditional boundaries of what Christians are allowed to do. There are still some people who think, if it's got a beat, it's from the devil. Not so many of them, but to go as far as to embracing a rave as a form of worship. And if you think about it, a lot of ravers talk about a kind of spiritual ecstasy. So it's not that big.
Yeah,
a
it's $20 a pill.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you heard of the Christian ska?
Yeah, sure. There's Christian everything. Yeah.
It's like Madness, but.
Jesus is a friend of mine. Jesus is my friend. Jesus is a friend of mine. I have a friend in Jesus. Jesus is a friend of mine. Jesus is my friend. Jesus is a friend of mine. He taught me how to live my life as it should be. He taught me how to turn my cheek when people laugh at me. I've had friends before, and I can tell you that he's one who will never leave you flat.
You got to go to YouTube and type in "Jesus is my friend." They must have shot this in like the early '80s or late '70s, or it could have been yesterday. The way a lot of these kooks, religious kooks, dress, but it is. There's like this fat little group of people standing behind an organ, sort of bobbing their heads back and forth, and everybody's lip syncing. It's horrendous.
The Christian radio programmers would be nodding and saying, "That's got good JPMs." Jesus per minute.
Oh my God!
That's how they measure. And again, so that's serious. And then like Christian radio, which represents the conservative kind of control the youth, spread the word attitude. That's their idea of what good Christian rock is. It has to say Jesus, Jesus, Jesus over and over again.
And if it doesn't, they get very upset.
Yeah, if you have a song that doesn't, and you're trying to get it on the radio, you have to go in and have a meeting with the radio programmer and like go verse by verse through and match it to the Bible to explain what's spiritual about it. Well, there are a lot of bands now, more and more, and bands and just rock bands who, that appalls them. The idea that you're measuring songs by how many times it says Jesus. There's a really healthy movement in Christian rock, and I know I keep coming back to this because you keep being skeptical about it, but the idea that that's what makes good music, that just makes them furious. And there's songs out there that maybe it says Jesus, maybe it doesn't, but it's not trying to hide it. It's just this is how we see the world, and it's a kind of interesting way of looking at it. It won't get on Christian radio at all.
And if you play the record backwards, it says "Kill the faggots." Are they just wound up about the gays. I mean, Jesus must have spent 99% of the time talking about helping out poor people, and that they could give a shit about that. They're like, I don't want to pay taxes. Fuck the poor people. And dude, if you think about it, we used to actually feel bad for people in this country who went to jail. We used to think that somehow, and I've said this before, somehow society had failed them. So, and that we could do better.
It's one of the things Jesus said. Is
right.
One of his commandments is visit the people in jail.
So if you have killed your old lady and you are in the joint, Johnny Cash will come play for you.
Yep.
And the Grateful Dead used to do it.
Yep.
Jerry Garcia, Waylon Jennings, all these people used to go to prisons because we had this kind of mentality of we failed as a society on these people, and we can rehabilitate them, and we can make them better. But now it's just like, fuck the poor. If you get caught smoking a joint, you should go to prison for the rest of your life. And Jesus rode a dinosaur, because that creation museum when you read about it in this book, it's called Rapture Ready. We're talking with the author Daniel Raydosh. That creation museum, why do crazy fundamentalist Christians hate science? They love the science that makes their car go and their iPod play Christian music. But if you tell them like, hey, we've, figured out that this rock is 1 million years old, they're like, heretic! I don't get it.
To be, absolutely technical about it, the dinosaurs did die off before Jesus was around. I
right.
Want to say Adam rode a dinosaur. I mean, we don't want to make them sound crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. So it was Adam.
But Adam rode a dinosaur 6,000 years ago. Isn't that what it is?
Yes.
Yeah. So, come on.
It's a little crazy.
If
you go to this museum, by the way, they have a dinosaur with a saddle on it. So you can go and you can sit up in the saddle.
I've seen it
and ride on it. Yeah.
There's a saddle on the dinosaur.
Yeah. And I asked, it's like, this is, you're just having a little fun here, that you don't really believe this. And he said, well, what would be unusual about man domesticating a wild animal? I said, Good
Right.
point.
Well, yeah, I think I saw it was called Land of the Lost.
Yeah.
Did you ask him about when the Slee Stacks were hanging out with Moses? And why they were so slow?
It's a room with all the creatures from the Dark Crystal up in the next room.
Well, the funny, but the Bible says all sorts of things like there are giants. There are, and not all creationists believe this, but there are creationists who will, if you ask them, there were giants on the earth, and they mated with the human women, and they created the. And
You're such a small vagina, woman.
They'll show you the footprints of the giants, walking next to the people, walking next to the dinosaurs.
What, in the museum?
Not at this museum. They consider that. I mean, that's the thing. There's always no matter how crazy somebody is, there's always they say, well, we're not as crazy as those other guys.
Right, and there's a big crazy Christian museum that's quite popular down in Florida that I believe was the one that was run by the guy that got thrown in prison for being a tax cheat.
Yeah.
That's what I love is somehow when you find Jesus, you don't think you should have to pay fucking taxes.
Yeah.
Well, how does that work?
There's a sweet, Bill Maher has this new documentary coming out called Religulous, and it's sweet. And in it, he interviews one of these dudes down in Florida who clearly is just bilking poor people. And he comes to the interview, this preacher, and he's got all this gold and bling. And Bill Maher's like, "Hey man, you got a lot of bling. Didn't Jesus preach against bling?" And the guy's like, "Nah, Jesus preached that you should gather your money and you should be rich." Bill Maher's like, "No, he didn't, dumbass."
I didn't do it because I couldn't get into. You can't get into an argument with people about what Jesus said because it's first of all, they've got way more facts than anyone.
Right, and as you talk about in your book, there's literally these days 50, 60 different Bibles out there. They have a Bible for skaters, and they've changed it. They've edited it. So Jesus did an ollie, and then he broke up some biscuits and a 40.
Chuck Norris has now become kind of a right-wing whack job.
He's huge in the Christian community.
Huge, man. He just put out this book. I was reading some of his columns online. He writes a column.
And he's another one that's batshit.
He's crazy. He wrote this whole column about would Jesus support war? And it's yes, he would. Jesus would. Jesus would totally support war. It's didn't they call that dude the Prince of Peace?
Right.
What part?
I met this Christian pacifist. I went to this really interesting Christian rock festival called Cornerstone. That's kind of more on the fringes. It gets a lot of more liberal Christians, but it also gets very conservative ones as well. And it's one of these places where everyone mixes. And so the pacifists were set up there with their booth, and this guy comes up to him and says, "How can you call yourself a Christian and not believe in war?" And
I don't know, because I read the first 20 chapters.
Do unto your neighbor or whatever.
Right. Well, shit. I'd stab a fool.
Right.
Wow. So, but the Creation Museum, I mean, it sounds like those. I mean, first off, this is not just a small room. These people spent tens of millions of dollars.
It is real. I mean, you go there, it's really impressive. It's one of these big natural history museums, except the dinosaurs and the people aren't in separate display cases.
And
they got a saddle.
And the other thing that I really loved about your book was you talked about Halloween. Now, Halloween is the big no-no holiday. I remember where I grew up, there was a huge debate. Should you let your kids go trick-or-treating? What is acceptable for them to do? Because they were upset that I was dressed up as C-3PO.
And it's witchcraft.
Well, he's gay.
Right.
He's gay.
And the inside of the mask gets all stinky. But so I guess, and one of the things you talk about this parallel Christian culture is they take everything in our secular culture and they make a copy of it, and their own kind of crazy Christian copy of it, and so they have Halloween haunted houses.
Oh yeah, the hell houses. Yeah, that they, instead of just being ghosts that come out and say boo, it shows you what it's going to be like when you go to hell.
Right, they have one in New York, and they have it an abortion room.
Yeah, he actually went and saw it.
I went and saw that one, yeah.
And in the abortion room, they were literally pulling fetuses out and throwing them around the room.
Yeah, they had these hunks of meat. Oh, it's totally disgusting. Well, I went there with this guy who's a really cool, progressive pastor, Jay Baker. He's the son of Jim and Tammy Faye Baker. And kind of...
Yeah, you describe him. He's just sort of this chain-smoking dude that's God, my childhood was fucked. God, my childhood was fucked.
Exactly, but somehow he came back to being a Christian and basically realized that, or decided that, what they were doing was sort of the opposite of what Christianity is. So I dragged him to this thing, and he was so disgusted by it. He was for me it was kind of funny, but for him, because he, believes in Jesus, to see it used this way. And his take on the abortion was, first of all, he said, the way they're depicting it, that's what abortion would be like if it was illegal.
Right.
You know, I mean, and
that day's a coming, folks.
I mean, the girl,
go in and pull that lever for McCain Palin. You do it, buddy.
Here's how subtle it is. The girl that's getting the abortion is still in her cheerleader uniform. They do not go in for subtlety.
That's Bristol Palin, man, right there.
Exactly. Wow. And the other bit, what was the thing? There was also a thing against dancing, wasn't there? Because it was like
there's a rave, not a Christian rave. And the demon is the DJ, and
of course he is.
They slip a roofie into this girl's drink. One guy slips a roofie into this girl's drink, and it's the rave. This is in the Hell House, by the way, not a real rave. I just want to make that clear. And she falls on the floor, and all of a sudden, the music stops, and everybody in the room says, "Let's rape her." But then what makes it worse is it cuts to black, and the next room is that girl who's, distraught over having been raped, and she commits suicide, and she goes to hell. There's nothing about, what happens to these guys, because it's the Sarah Palin attitude, you know? It's like, this is what the focus is on, the bad girl who commit suicide because she didn't turn to Jesus after being raped, and she ends up in hell for eternity. Now, what I have to say, once again, is that this especially is really increasingly fringy. Like, the mainstream of Christianity is moving away from that because it's so kind of appalling. And, you talked about how they're really, they're all twisted about the gays. And it's true. I mean, it's really difficult for them and for us. But it's changing immensely. I mean, I firmly believe that within 2 generations at the most, the Christian attitudes towards homosexuality completely different. It's going to be completely accepted because it's already changed enough that, like it used to be, if you were a Christian, you said I'm gay, your parents wouldn't speak to you, your church wouldn't speak to you, you had to move to New York.
It totally happened to me.
Yeah. But now...
go on vacation together?
Yeah, exactly.
See, it comes out.
Yeah. But these people, they're still not comfortable with it, but they've definitely had this attitude that, and we're all kind of sinners. And you see this in the pop culture, like in these teen Bibles. Then they say, what should I do if my friend is gay? And they say,
Kill him.
Well, but see, the thing is they don't. They say, look, it's a sin. But, shoplifting is a sin, and gossip is a sin, and the bottom line is we're all sinners, and Jesus says to love the sinners.
And you can also, because this is what we learned, is that if you sin, then you can just apologize to Jesus, and then it'll all be okay. So if you're a little drunk, and you do want to suck your best friend's penis, then the next day, you can just say, Jesus, I'm sorry.
But the bottom line is, I got to say, in all seriousness, these people it's changed enough that even though, like, to us, it feels like, yeah, it's, love the sinner, hate the sin, but it's still hating the sinner. It's changed enough that gay Christians are coming out and insisting on still identifying as Christians and going to church. And so now, pretty much every, mainline Christian or mainstream evangelical Christian knows someone or knows of someone who's gay. And it's that kind of personal familiarity is what changes things. I mean, that's how mainstream society became tolerant of gays. And it's going to happen in the Christian society. Have me back in 40 years, and I'll show you I was right.
If we're doing this show in 40 years,
the apocalypse. Yeah, I know.
Right, if Jesus hasn't come back in 40 years.
When you were at the International Christian Retail Show, did you see the talking Jesus doll?
Children around the world have always been awed and comforted by the biblical stories of Jesus. And now you can help bring the scriptures to life with the talking Jesus doll.
Love others as much as you love yourself.
A religious treasure that recites the verses aloud.
I am Jesus. I am the Son of God.
Dressed in a...
How creepy that this small little doll is talking to your child.
I love how Jesus always has the reverb,
Jesus always does seem to have reverb on his mic, doesn't he?
There's a Bible, an audio Bible, that has like one of these all-star casts, and Samuel L. Jackson is the voice of God. And I'm like, well, that is perfect. This is true. It's
Samuel L. Jackson was God?
The voice of God, yeah.
I'm sorry. Allow me to retort.
Right. I'll cut you, Sodom and Gomorrah. I'll cut your fucking...
I want these motherfucking snakes out my motherfucking garden.
Right, exactly. Oh! Did I break your concentration with the locusts?
I am the Son of God.
Dressed in authentic linen robe, coarse shawl, rope belt, and traditional sandals, just press the button and the Jesus doll speaks directly to your child. The talking Jesus stands 12 inches tall and features posable arms and legs. Even the fingers move to hold objects. Watch as the doll is...
Like Barbie's tits.
He's got the traditional sandals, but really he should have the new, I saw Follow the Sun sandals that have the words Follow Jesus imprinted like in die cut on the sole, so that when you're walking along the beach, it prints the words Follow Jesus in the sand behind you.
When there's only one set of footprints. It's because Jesus drowned.
Even the fingers move to hold objects. Watch as the doll inspires your children's imagination, helping to create a personal connection with our Savior. Order the Talking Jesus doll now for only $19.99.
Dude, but you know, remember when you had your G.I. Joes and you would take the weapons from the G.I. Joes and like give it to Luke Skywalker? So he had like Snake from the ninja. He would have like ninja weapons.
But you always also, you're like, I mean, maybe not me, but other people I knew, kids I knew, you take down his pants. You know, well, you want to see what's
under there. You got to see what
right.
Jesus is packing, because you know that dude's immense.
And circumcised, we could probably be.
Yeah. Well, he was black, wasn't he? I opened up this the Playboy magazine that came this week, and Playboy's always got this one-page insert of like a commemorative knife with a mountain scene and an eagle on it, and it says America on it. You know that weird tchotchke that they always sell in there, like a weird coin pendant, you know, and it shows like this hairy-chested guy where it's like, I love my gold pendant coin thing. But this one had the Lord's Prayer diamond pendant, and this was enclosed with Playboy cracked me up. Do these people at the Danbury Mint even know that they have...
That's who needs it most.
Yeah, exactly.
There was a playmate, a tennis player, Ashley Hackelroad. Does that sound right? Who's in Playboy a couple months ago. She had a Jesus fish tattoo, like right, you know, at the bikini line, and I believe that's the first time that has ever appeared in Playboy. So they're everywhere.
Yes. You have to count the number.
Even in your girly magazine.
Do you think that there'll be a Christian Playboy? Where it's sort of a girl with a beaver shot, and she's reading Philippians.
She's hiding behind a sheet with a hole in it.
Right, exactly.
You can barely see through.
But no, we heard on the Opie and Anthony show with David that's a myth, that they don't have a sex through the sheet. But I think it's got to be true.
No, it's not true. Well, that's Jews who are supposed to be.
Right. Oh, yes, we should ask you. Tell me, chosen person, why do you fuck through a sheet?
It's hot. I mean,
right? It's because she's ugly as fuck.
You know, a little variety in. Hey.
Because you want to pretend that you're fucking a ghost.
Casper.
Right. Just make, when you moan, go, ooh.
Right. No, Christians actually like pride themselves on having really wild sex and you know, within marriage. I mean, that's like, they're really proud of that. It was a surprise to me. I don't know how true it is, but they certainly brag about it.
Yeah. I also like, that they did a study and found out that Christian teens who only listen to Christian music download illegal downloads.
Christian rock is downloaded illegally as much as any other kind of music. Yeah.
Isn't that good? I'm ripping off Jesus music.
They have, you know, and speaking of Christian rock, they have, there's not too many Christian video games out there, but there are.
That's what I was going to say, you know, as many times, and I've talked about this on the show before, that you have somebody who, like, stabs his wife and kids, and is, you know, they come and find him, and he's reciting scripture, and it just has gone completely batshit. If the Bible was a video game, they would have pulled it off the fucking shelves. Nobody says, hey, maybe this book is making people fucking nuts and going on these rampages and shooting abortion doctors in the head. They don't go, maybe we should pull that off the shelf. But some numbnut, you know, does some kind of violence. They run into his house and they see video games like, there you are. There you are. He was playing a racing game.
And if they found a Christian video game, because there is a Left Behind video game, and there is a Bible Man video game. Bible Man is the Christian superhero. He's the
I love the
Christian.
The Christian comic books are awesome.
Batman for Jesus. But there's a new one that's just coming out this month. That's a rip-off of Guitar Hero. that is called Guitar Praise. And it's, you know, the same thing with, like, Christian rock songs. And it's, like, fascinating to me because that's one of these perfect examples of, you know what? Why not just like make your Christian rock pack for the real Guitar Hero and have it downloadable? People who want to buy it will. People who don't want to buy it won't. Well, there's a couple reasons, and one is that there's a lot of parents who won't buy real video games for their kids, and they want to reach that market. You know, the kids who aren't allowed to have it. There are a lot of people who are like, I can't have Guitar Hero because even if I don't play the AC/DC songs, you know, it's still going to infect me somehow. And then I also think probably if these folks went to, you know, Guitar Hero and said, you know, these songs sell a lot. I mean, Christian music makes a lot of money, Christian rock. And they could go to Guitar Hero and say, you know, you can make money selling these things. And they would say, you know what, we have a cool product and we don't want to be associated with Christian rock. The funny thing is, there's some crossover. There's some of those bands are already on Guitar Hero. You know, Flyleaf and Switchfoot but like they have the quote unquote non-Christian songs on Guitar Hero.
I think Guitar Hero is Guitar Queero. I mean, I played Simon as a kid. I don't need to play it as an adult, and I need games where I'm sniping fools and they're falling off of construction cranes.
That's the Left Behind game. Yeah, there's a lot of shooting people in the head in Left Behind video game.
Really?
Well, you're supposed to pray.
They're left behind because I shot them.
It takes place after the rapture, and you play the Christians and they're the non-Christians. The first thing you have to try to do is convert them by praying for them.
And if it doesn't work, you shoot them?
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah, sweet.
I think that they're doing that in real life. So the name of the book is Rapture Ready. It's hysterical. I read it cover to cover. And you just go on Amazon.
Yeah, it's Amazon, and the GetRaptureReady.com is the website. Don't go to just plain old RaptureReady.com because those are the crazy end times people.
One of the things
I couldn't get that website.
One of the things that I was reading aloud to people at the beach was there are websites because these people think that any moment they're going to be taken up to heaven, and their friends who are non-believers are going to be like, where's Bob? He was just here mowing the lawn a moment ago. So they have these websites that if you don't check in on a regular basis, it will send an email to all your friends and say, I have been taken by Jesus, and here is an instructional kit on how you can save yourself because shit's about to get really ugly. And they also have kits that they leave at the house, right? And so if somebody comes over and it's like, oh, I wonder, you know, I haven't heard from them in a while and the house is empty.
There's like a videotape.
There's a videotape.
Play this tape.
Play this tape. And they pop in the tape and it says, the reason I'm gone is because Jesus took me.
You know what I love about that is that those people have, you know, you got to have a lot of balls to think, you know, to just be so sure that you are going to, you know, be raptured. Because I can imagine an email going out and, oh my God, the rapture, you know, Bob sent me this email, and you call up, Bob, why are you still there? I was like, what do you mean? You know, and he forgot. He masturbated the night before and forgot to ask for repentance, and he missed the rapture.
Right, exactly. It's sort of like when Reed's redneck batshit family down there in the South were getting ready for Y2K. They bought a generator, a shotgun, and about 8,000 gallons of water.
That's right.
And then just sat there, and it clicked over, and no apocalypse came. And they're like, fuck, now I own a $1,000 Honda generator for no reason.
You know what? Sarah Palin's church actually believed, her minister went up there and said this, that after the rapture, when everything goes all to hell, there's like a 7-year period when you have like all this fighting and wars, and he believes that Alaska is going to become a refuge for the new Christians who will leave the country.
These people are batshit. Do not vote for them. We are fucked, people. These people are out of their minds. Hey, dude, it scares the shit out of me. I like John McCain. I've worked on commercials for him, and then I was hoping like that he would pick somebody somewhat sensical, but he bowed to the wackadoos, and he brought in this kook ball.
She is really, you know, I've been saying over and over again, they're not all crazy, she's crazy.
She's crazy.
There's, you know, 44% of Americans call themselves evangelicals. Most of those people are, you know, the normal, nice, friendly, you would totally get along with them, you disagree with them on some things, but they're not, you know, crazy. 8% of Americans are basically what we would call fundamentalists, and that's the Jesus camp, you know, where it's like, you know, we're preparing for spiritual warfare, and that's what Sarah Palin comes out of.
Yeah, she thinks that the Iraq War is, you know, brought to us by God. I mean, that's a holy war to her.
And oil pipelines.
Right. Again, the book Rapture Ready with Daniel Radosh, really funny. I laughed all the way through it.
Thank you.
I'm glad that you agreed to come on the show, even though it's a very vile and horrible show. You said that you've done a lot of Christian radio.
Yeah, I did. Actually, it's really funny because I wrote this thinking it'd be mostly for folks like us who I had no real exposure to this world, other than Stryper. And really, Christians have latched onto it a lot. And I think it's because a lot of Christians, like I was saying, recognize how disturbing and how really un-Christian a lot of this kind of marketing and consumerism is. And so they've never really been allowed to say it. And there's a book that, kind of expresses what they have been thinking about, and they really want to talk about it.
When you're on the Christian stations, do you ever just drop a C-bomb and see if it goes through? They think you're about to say Christ, and you go, ha, cunt! Again, GetRaptureReady.com is the website, and Rapture Ready is available on Amazon.com. I highly recommend it. Thanks for coming on. We are long overdue for a break, and I'm going to start drinking. We've got another hour left in the show. We're going to talk about R. Kelly, Brooke Hogan, Andy Rooney in 60 Seconds, Larry King drunk, and a retard cooking show. This is The Lazlow Show.
The Lazlow Show.
Lazlow Show, episode 35. The website, lazlow.com. We've got a box set there that will have all 35 shows that we've done over the last, 3 years we've been doing this or something. But ship a lot of those to Ohio, seems to enjoy them, as well as Germany. Is very strange. Matt in Ohio, you're on the Lazlow Show.
Hey, I just wanted to call in and say that was a great interview. It was very enlightening and interesting, and enjoyed it a lot, and look forward to picking up that book.
Thanks, man. We normally don't do author interviews or talk about religion that long, but I think it's sort of one of those topics, especially in today's society with the race coming up and everything. There's a lot of stuff. People don't know some of this stuff. I had no idea there was Christian pro wrestling.
It sounds a little wacky.
Yeah, you got to read the book, dude. It's hysterical. So I guess on BET they played this PSA, like a cartoon PSA. You remember when we were kids growing up, they would have PSAs about don't drown your food in ketchup, things like that. Three's a magic number.
Don't get in that van.
Don't get in that van with a man that has puppies and wants to show them to you, and then we'll put his penis in your mouth. But on BET, these guys did this PSA, sort of directed at the black community to teach kids and teenagers some good morals. And they played it on BET, and then there was a whole outrage about it, because in the cartoon they're sort of like guys grinding up on chicks' booties and stuff. But it's pretty catchy.
Read a book, read a book, read a motherfucking book. Read a book, read a book, read a motherfucking book. Read a book, read a book, read a motherfucking book. Read a book, read a book, read a motherfucking book. R-E-A-D-A-B-O.
This is, by the way, to encourage literacy in the black community.
Right.
Read a motherfucking book.
And how do you spell motherfucking anyway? Is that a word?
Read a motherfucking book. R-E-A-D-A-B-O-O-K. 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 Raise your kids, raise your kids, raise your goddamn kids. Raise your kids, raise your kids, raise your goddamn kids.
See, it's a very catchy PSA. Raise your kids.
Raise your goddamn kids.
Right, don't be out drinking a 40.
Raise your kids, raise your kids, raise your goddamn kids. Raise your kids, raise your kids, raise your goddamn kids. Raise your kids, raise your kids, raise your goddamn kids. Brush your teeth, brush your teeth, brush your goddamn teeth.
Evidently, there's dental hygiene issues in the black community.
This epidemic is, you're right, you should raise your kids and also floss.
How do you tell the black community to floss, really? This is how you do it.
But that's the thing. That's what I don't understand about this. Is that really, is somebody going to see this and it's really going to work and be like, I am going to go read a motherfucking book.
Yeah, exactly.
Right now, I'm going to go read a motherfucking book.
Brush your teeth, brush your goddamn teeth. Brush your teeth, brush your teeth, brush your goddamn teeth. Brush your teeth, brush your teeth, brush your goddamn teeth. Brush your teeth, brush your teeth, brush your goddamn teeth. Deodorant, nigga.
Wear deodorant, nigga.
Man.
Wow.
Brush your teeth, brush your goddamn teeth. Deodorant, nigga. Deodorant, nigga. Deodorant, nigga. Deodorant, nigga. Deodorant, nigga.
It goes on and on.
I didn't know BO was so epidemic in the black community.
Are you going to tell a large black man who's packing? Like, dude, you kind of smell. Really.
If you do it through song, I think it probably goes down a little easier.
Yeah. So later on, when we're at Penn Station and I see a black dude, I'm going to go, raise your kids, raise your kids, raise your goddamn kids. And he goes, hey, that was really offensive. I'm going to shoot you in the face. I'll be like, hey, I'm singing it in a rap song. You can't be mad at me. R. Kelly, Reed sent this to me. Now, R. Kelly there was a video of him urinating on a young girl or something.
I think she was 13 or something.
Which proves the point, do not film yourself ever.
Or do, as long as you're rich and you can afford lawyers. You can film yourself doing whatever the hell you want.
Hey, she wanted to be peed on, I bet you.
Yeah.
She wouldn't want to be peed on by you, but she wanted to be peed on by R. Kelly.
That's what I'm saying.
He sings such romantic songs. Urinate on me.
Why is that always... This is like the third celebrity sex tape to come out that involves piss. Because remember years ago there was that Chuck Berry one where Chuck Berry's taking a piss on someone.
Wow.
And didn't Rob Lowe piss on someone? Did you ever see that one?
I gotta say no.
And you were telling me this week that you were talking to a guy who was possibly going to come on the show that's got the Marilyn Monroe sex tape?
That's right. Okay, so I think it's bullshit though. But a couple months ago, supposedly this in the private market, this Marilyn Monroe sex tape went up for sale for like somebody bought it, a private collector, for $1.5 million. And apparently it shows Marilyn Monroe blowing some dude.
Right.
So this guy contacted me and said, "Oh, we've got it. It's on our site. Check it out." So I checked it out and it looked totally bogus.
Really?
So I asked the guy. I was like, "Come on, dude, where'd this come from?" He's like, "Oh, I'm not at liberty to reveal that."
It's probably his old lady. They just shot it in grainy.
Put on a wig.
Right.
8mm, something like that.
So I guess R. Kelly was on BET or one of the channels that the white people don't watch much of. And the guy took him to task.
He did?
He totally took him to task.
Let me ask you something real that millions of Americans are thinking about.
What's it like to urinate on a young girl?
Do you brush your teeth?
Nigga.
Are thinking about, wondering about you. Do you like...
I keep waiting for him to go, wear deodorant, nigga!
Yeah. Well, I do.
Do you like teenage girls?
When you say teenage, how old are we talking?
Let's clarify for a second.
Let me parse this question.
Exactly. He's got Anthony Cumia syndrome.
How old are we talking?
Girls who are teenagers.
19?
He's like, 19? Is 19 okay?
19 and younger.
I have some 19-year-old friends, but I don't like anybody illegal, if that's what we're talking about, underage.
Some people think that you like underage girls. What do you say to them?
Well, those people that don't know Robert, they don't know me.
Dude, you're always in trouble when you start talking in the third person.
Why do all famous people do that? They have like this alter ego that they talk about.
I know. It's so weird, man. It's because, people don't know Lazlow. They don't know Lazlow.
Well, those people that don't know Robert, they don't know me. So I usually don't.
Right, they don't know you, and if they did, it would be urine in their face while you croon.
So I usually don't get into what people think about me, because all my career, even before the trial, people have had their opinions about Robert, and that's probably because it has a lot to do with me.
Pissing on a girl.
Stay shy away from the crowd, because I'm always in the studio, digging deep into the basement all the time of my house.
And evidently in the basement of his house
is a 13-year-old girl tied up.
Digging deep into the basement all the time of my house, creating music. So, people, when they don't know you and they can't really touch you like they could someone else, they seem to form opinions or have thoughts about you that they like to, think.
No, dude, it's because you have a videotape of you pissing on a girl. That's how we form our opinions and thoughts. Not because you in the basement writing tracks.
Right, exactly.
So,
some of the people who have worked with you have said that there's an issue here. Your former manager has said publicly that there's an issue of concern here. Your brother Kerry has said there's an issue of concern here.
Issue of concern? What do you mean?
Or he's confusing him.
Now, is this the 19 thing again?
There's too many syllables. Can you get back to brush your teeth?
What do you mean when you say issue of concern?
They've said that they're concerned that you like underage girls.
Let me put it to you this way, man. You know, unfortunately, the people that don't work for me says that. Do not listen to the people that was fired. You know, don't even listen to the people that was hired. You know, listen to the facts and get into what you think and make your own opinions. If you're gonna have an opinion about me, have your opinion about what you may think about me.
Right. Don't listen to all the multiple people that work with me that say I like underage girls,
including my own brother.
Oh yeah, he gets into that.
Yeah. You know, what you definitely don't do is go by somebody that was fired and they're mad and pissed off at me because they were fired.
But your brother Kerry was not fired. He's still your brother.
Yeah, he was fired.
But he's still your brother.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. That nigga's fired.
Right.
I told him, you got to shut your mouth about me boning the 14-year-old. You're fired.
It's just so, you know, if somebody's not guilty, they don't act like this. That's all I gotta say. You know, just this whole parsing and stuff like that. If you just say, no, I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Right, and what I love is, you know, he likes underage girls, but we've sort of said somehow that that's okay, right? Because they got off in the trial and everything else.
Right.
Michael Jackson, on the other hand, everybody thinks he's a fucking creep.
Even though yeah.
But dude, R. Kelly's still selling tons of records.
I know.
Michael Jackson's wearing like a weird robe and living in Qatar or some shit. I don't even know where he is anymore.
But you know, if he ever got off his ass and actually did a show or made an album, I bet people would be all up in there. Because he's supposed to come to Vegas. Have you heard this? That some casino is going to give him like a long-standing engagement in Vegas.
Yeah.
I would see that.
I would. I'd like to go see a moonwalk.
I know. Do you think he can still do it?
I don't know. He looks fragile these days.
Dude, his nose. Have you seen his nose?
There's no nose left.
Dude.
He's crazy.
That's the weirdest thing.
He's crazy. The Meryl Howard Kalin show is... Dude, I had one beer. I'm slurring.
Yeah, I have it. Yeah, okay.
It's gone.
With the whole thing?
Meryl Howard Kalin is this retarded gentleman that had a cooking show, and Danny said that it's one of his favorite all-time clips on the internet. It's been around for a while.
Yeah, this one it's made the rounds a few times, but I remember the first time I found this, it was great to find, because you just knew that you had an hour's worth of gold in your hand. The minute, like the second it's playing, like the first sentence out of his mouth, and you're like, oh man, I got 20 minutes of this.
Right.
This is going to be some good shit today.
Yeah, he's an interesting dude, and you know, I've only got like 3 minutes of it, but Danny's right, there's a ton of it. And I don't know what happened with this show, but we are getting so many people sending us retard stuff. You know, like the retard rap and the retard this. It's like we've become the retard show. People sending all this stuff in, and somebody sent this in. It's good stuff.
Live from Little City Studios in Palatine, Illinois, it's the Meryl Howard Kalin Show with the host and star of the show, the great gourmet himself, Meryl Kalin.
Welcome. Hi, this is the Meryl Howard Kalin Show, and I am the host. Is Meryl Howard Kalin, and show for tonight is how to cook chicken. The topic is how...
I'd like to see that crazy woman with the squirrel and then this dude together. Okay, she's got a squirrel, he's got a chicken, then he stabs her, and eats pennies.
The topic is how to cook chicken. The salad is the most important food of the day because it's easy to do. First thing, how to open up the lettuce, you just smash it down. Then you crunch it up into this bowl, and you crunch it up, crunch it up, crunch it up. This is wonderful.
Was there nobody else available in this entire town to do this damn cooking show?
I don't know. Dude? Public access shit is genius,
it's so
dude.
Weird
That it is. Genius.
This is wonderful. You see, that's how you're cooking with Meryl. You do the right thing. That's how you cook. I do that at home all the time with my mom and my dad. Oh boy, delicious.
I'm sure they really love him fucking around with knives.
Yeah, right. You got the, when you're little, you get those rounded scissors. These guys just fucking they don't cut. Right. Yeah, no shit.
No shit. You're retarded.
Yeah.
A disaster of fucking DNA combination of your parents. You sew that vagina closed.
But seriously, why does he have his own show? Are we supposed to laugh at him? Are we supposed to feel sorry for him? Or is he actually a good cook? What's going on here?
I don't know.
It's so strange.
It's this whole sort of enabling the disabled.
Yeah, that's what it is.
You're not all winners. I mean, one of the reasons I really like Sarah Palin is she cut money out of the budget for the Special Olympics.
Did she?
Yeah, she's a winner. She's good egg, that Sarah.
What's Trig gonna do when she grows up? What is Trig?
Evidently drink and shoot guns. Did you see those photos of her kids going around? There's photos of her kids with empty whiskey bottles looking all shit-faced.
I've seen that. Yeah,
what a fucking mess that family is, dude. But you know what? Give her the nuclear codes. Go ahead. Pull that switch.
There's a theme developing in this show tonight.
Dude, normally we don't get political, but I'm telling you, we are headed for apocalypse. We cannot allow this to happen.
I mean, we have to be rapture ready, everyone.
Right.
If we've learned anything tonight, it's we have to be rapture ready.
Right. Because, I mean, dark days are coming. Wall Street is failing.
Ooh.
Right. The markets are in the toilet. Crazy, wacky fundamentalists have invaded. They want to teach the Bible in science classes.
That shitty Nicolas Cage movie is #1 at the box office. Fucked up.
What?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of something that was a sign of the beast.
Oh boy, delicious. Wow. Wowie, kazowie.
Oh my God.
Wowie, kazowie. Meal make good salad. Ooh. So,
dude, I think he just blew a load in his pants, and all he's done so far is rip up some lettuce. Wow, me make goo in pants. Like, dude, you just torn up some lettuce. And who really wants to eat food that has been fingered by a retard? Because they don't wash their hands. They're constantly sticking their hands down their pants, picking their nose.
Picking up a dead pigeon on the sidewalk.
Right, exactly. Hey, wowie kazowie. Chicken, no, that's a pigeon.
It's bird flu, motherfucker. Wowie kazowie.
Ooh. So good. It tastes good. It's so good. It's unbelievable.
He's still going. He's still going. He just blew a load on the cameraman.
Oh, God. So good. Look at this. So good and tasty. They make my mouth so yummy. Next thing is we're gonna do is forgot the main part of it, the cheese. Is to do.
He's flying off the rails, I believe.
I forgot. You're gonna cut up the bananas. We forgot.
Oh, hold on a second.
Cut bananas? Chicken, bananas, and lettuce. What the fuck is he making?
I think he's making Jell-O. He's making a Jell-O bowl that's gonna have chicken in it. Wowie kazowie!
I know.
I do love it though. God makes me laugh so hard.
He went from lettuce, and then he's like cheese. I was like, okay, I can see cheese in the salad.
Right.
But then he goes to bananas.
Yeah.
It's like just random shit. Then we put in the washers and the lug nuts.
He's gonna feed it to his parents. They're gonna pretend to eat it. Put it on a forkful and dump it over the back of their shoulder. Like they do. Oh yeah, it's delicious. Wowie fucking kazowie. It's over there back on the floor.
And he's got a big bowl, and to garnish it, he just drops pennies on it. I should have downloaded the rest of the show. We could just talk the fucking rest of the show
We
about
need to
it.
have that guy on the show. Where is he?
I think he's dead. On the website, if you do a search for this fool, his name is Merrill Howard Kalin. Do it on YouTube. And Kalin is Kalin. He does a retarded cooking show. I think he's dead because I saw that. Well, dude, he's fucking around in the kitchen. He probably blew himself up.
He ate what the fuck he made.
Now, wowie kazowie, we're gonna mix bleach and ammonia and drink it.
This is burning in my mouth, actually. It's horribly burning.
But it's good.
Oh, I love him.
I forgot. You're gonna cut up the bananas. We forgot. Ooh, yeah. Ooh. Sorry, folks. My banana got rotten.
What did you say? My banana got
rotten.
Oh, got rotten. Hey, it's been in his pocket for 3 weeks.
Sorry, folks. My banana got rotten. I'm Julia's child.
Oh, I forgot about this. He also starts to just bust into impressions, like out of nowhere.
Got rotten. I'm Julia's child. I'm making those my bananas, cut them up skinny, I like. And you know who else is here next to me? Is French Gourmet. Hi, everybody. I'm French Gourmet. This show is about how to cook, how to make bananas into small pieces for the Jell-O.
Oh, I told you he was going to do Jell-O. Retards love Jell-O. Love Jell-O, because you really don't need sharp utensils to eat or make Jell-O.
Where does the chicken come in?
And lettuce. Is he putting lettuce in the Jell-O?
I don't know. This is insane.
To make bananas into small pieces for the Jell-O. I'm showing you how to cut apples. Apples is the best thing to cut because it's easy to make.
The apple is actually already made, retard boy.
Cut because it's easy to make. Cut. Hi, Joe. How are you doing, Joe? I'm cutting up some apples for my show, Joe. Ba-da-dum. Well, look how am I doing it.
He's lost his fucking mind.
Who is Joe?
I don't know who Joe is, but evidently he turned the gas on and just left it on because that fool is high. That fool is fucking high.
Joe is the one person they pay to sit in the audience, so they like clap politely so the dude thinks somebody's actually watching.
Joe's the guy that goes and puts the straitjacket back on him and gives him some Thorazine.
Fucking puts chloroform in a rag and puts it over his mouth.
Back to the room, retard.
Look how am I doing it. That's how you do it. I'm cutting the apple wrongly, but I don't know why it's coming out bad.
And like I said, there's like 20 minutes or something of that guy. Is it for real, Danny?
Yeah, this was a real dude. I don't know how many episodes of this show actually made it to public access, but this was a real deal, disabled person who tried to have a public access cooking show.
What a nice guy Danny is. He's disabled. Well, we're in here going, look at the retard.
That was fucking hysterical.
That was good. I know it's made its rounds. I think O&A played it.
I need more retard humor.
Yeah, send them in.
I'm sure somebody will send it in.
Yeah, the website. Dude, you should see some of the shit people send in.
Is it good?
Now, it's horrific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Horrifically
disgusting.
Oh, yeah.
Horrifically disgusting and horrible and racist. But we'll take all the disabled comedy that you can send over just to ensure that one of us has a stroke and talks like John McCain soon. Can't lift our arms over our head. We should take a quick break because my Brooklyn Lager is now empty. This is the Lazlow Show, the website, lazlow.com. We got a bunch more stuff to...
What the...
I was calling for a drink.
No, you yawned.
No, I didn't yawn.
Yeah, you yawned.
No, I didn't.
Sound like a yawn.
I didn't yawn.
What was that?
I went for a drink of soda.
What did it sound like, Reed?
Sounded like a yawn.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I yawned.
Damn, dude.
You really
come on. We brought out our A material. Retard cooking.
Right.
What more do you want?
I was laughing hysterical.
All right.
Do you always like exhale before you drink like that?
Yeah, I guess I did. Yes.
Yeah. It also helps that you smoke like 3 packs of cigarettes at work.
I haven't smoked in like 60
He
days.
says to me the other day that he has to quit smoking, and not for a health reason. It's because he's got a bad reputation at work. He steals people's cigarettes out of their trucks.
Yeah, I will occasionally help myself to their smokes. And it's definitely going to be a bad reputation. And what you have to do when you steal their smokes, you have to buy them a pack back. So then it costs me double.
Yeah, he just
expensive, man.
So on construction sites, he just rifles through people's cars and their coolers.
But when I have my own smokes, which I haven't smoked now in 30 days, I throw my pack out and tell everyone just to help themselves, you know. But they don't always work back in your favor when you're that generous.
And you should see when he's doing construction over at my house, it's literally lighting one after the other. It's just chain smoking.
Yeah. But at your house, I also get to smoke weed, so that cuts back on the cigarettes a little bit.
I always like to see him completely baked with a fucking circular saw.
A level. Right. Yeah. Good job there, dum-dum.
Exactly. Why are my patio doors at an angle? Thanks, jackass. Actually,
who's the jackass? If I'm there smoking, you'll let me fucking install them and pay for it. Who's the jackass?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
You're getting paid to get high. Brilliant. This is the Lazlow Show.
I was sure I'd lunch. Now I am caught, tasting sweet as the punch. Sweet as the punch.
The Lazlow Show.
Bum, 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 bum. Lazlow Show, episode 35. Website's lazlow.com. Weed. Boy, I am slurring. Reed and Wayne, yeah, no doubt, have been signing the things for the box sets, which have been selling all right on the website, I must say, of all the shows that we've done. This one guy accused us of just photocopying the letter. Like, you don't actually sign it.
No, it's not true.
He emailed, he was like, no, is this going to be Reed's real signature?
None of my 2 signatures are the same.
I know. So bad.
Come on, screw that. Nah, come on, I take time. I write something on every single one, man.
You do.
Don't even...
I never see it. I only see it either, you signed it, then I signed it. I never see Lazlow's signature on it.
He just puts Lazlow on there. There's nothing special.
Right, no, I draw a little thing. You've never seen that?
Yeah, no, I've seen it, but I mean, you don't write a message.
No.
Okay.
It's your job.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. But it's real. We sign them all, man.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I was looking in this New York Times magazine the other day, and they had this little thing. There's a book, a coffee table book of female bodybuilders coming out. And I found them strangely attractive. And I was
fucking weird.
It was weird.
What do you find attractive about it?
I don't know, just tits and biceps.
They don't have any tits. It's all just muscle.
Yeah.
Like their tits get lost in their muscle.
Or their tits are on top of their pecs, which looks really weird.
Yeah.
Man.
You're a weird puppy, too.
I don't know. For a moment, I was kind of like, that's kind of hot. You don't think so?
No. Well, Reed only likes guys, so he likes to bodybuild men.
Yeah, exactly.
Those girls are half men, don't you think?
You should see, Reed is really into bizarre pop culture. Like, he sits and he reads all the girly blogs and...
Really?
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, it is true. In fact, he sent me this, I guess, when they do concerts and, TV shows that have bands on them, a lot of times it's just, with pop stars now, it's just lip-synced. But there's still a feed coming from the mic, and there's this audio of Britney Spears going around, and it's the actual feed from her mic, because they're playing the song, and she's singing along to herself, and she's out of tune to herself.
Yeah, no tighter than that.
When a girl is with one, then she's in control. And she loves me, this Hollywood girl.
Oh, dude.
My God.
Dude, you cannot fool me. That's another retard tape. That's a fucking retard tape.
There's like 4 or 5 minutes of that.
Yeah.
And, used to when you had like a dopey pop star, you were like, well, at least they can sing.
Yeah.
At least they may be an idiot, but at least they can sing. But now, with technology the way it is, they don't even have to be able to sing. There's a plug-in for Pro Tools, which is what most studios use, is the Pro Tools audio editing. It's what I've got in my studio at Rockstar and in my home studio. And there's a plug-in, and it's literally like pitch correction. It's a vocal pitch correction plug-in, and they use it on Britney Spears. They use it on everybody. So what happens? They sing into the mic like that,
right?
And it comes out on the other side, sounding pristine in key.
Yeah.
The whole thing. So the computer is basically doctoring these people up so much because they can't even really sing worth a shit. You know, it's like when you that Paris Hilton record. Do you remember that?
Yes. Oh, yeah, right.
That one
She
had
had it.
so much. You can actually sometimes sort of hear the software doing its thing because it gets a little digitized, kind of funky. If you listen real closely, you can hear it. But that's what they're... Oh. Is this Paris?
All right.
Have you had enough?
No, I remember the song,
Yeah,
though, but it's...
I remember it.
It is ridiculous. Yeah, there was a whole article in the New Yorker about it, about how they use that stuff, and...
Don't mind spending some time just hanging here with you, 'cause
That bitch can't sing like that.
No way, hell no.
She can't even talk. Dude, I have to admit, I have a horrible fascination with her.
Sexually, you mean?
Well, yeah, with Paris, I got a thing for her. I don't know what it is.
Have you heard her talk?
Dude, she was on David Letterman once, and it's the dumbest thing I couldn't even believe there was this carbon blob talking.
You would punch her in the face after spending 2 minutes with her, dude. You could not hang around her long enough to even want to have sex with her.
It's bad, but I don't know.
And I mean, how many times have you seen her just on videotape have sex? I mean, how many guys do you think she's been with?
I don't care.
That doesn't bother me.
That doesn't bother me either.
No?
No.
Are you one of those that when you date a girl, Reed, how long until you pop the question of how many guys have you been with? It must be early on, because it seems to be you're really wound up about it.
I wear a promise ring. So I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Let's get back to the engagement ring on your cock, like just rubbing on your cock.
Yeah, that shit was hot.
I cannot. But see, Reed comes across as this really straight.
I've never heard this story,
nerdy
so I think
guy.
you should tell the whole story from the top.
Well, there's nothing to it. That's just it.
You met a chick. She was engaged to someone else.
Years ago. Like, this was back in college. Yeah, but come on. Anyone who's engaged in college, they don't mean that.
Oh, so it's okay to just betray that trust.
I didn't betray it. I wasn't engaged. She was engaged.
No, it takes two people to betray.
So what? I'm supposed to turn it away?
So would she take the ring and turn it palm in or something?
No.
So the diamond scratched your junk?
What was the deal?
No, I was just making a joke. I didn't necessarily feel the ring. It was just a joke.
I don't know. I was under the assumption that the diamond was facing into his cock, and it was.
Did she take the ring off?
No.
But it was on.
So it's okay if she takes it off.
No, it's even sort of worse.
Yeah.
We need to know more. We get complaints.
No, you do not. Don't even play
yes,
yourself.
we do. And Reed, I got to say, Wayne has mentioned it. We get complaints that you don't open up enough on this show. We don't know shit about you. We know that you grew up in Virginia?
Come on.
Dude, Wayne exposes his whole life.
No, he does not.
I didn't.
Okay. That's true. That's true.
I don't know how to hold back. Though.
Right, that's true.
Well, and plus you're mostly wasted when you're on the show.
I'm having a light night,
and I talk about everything, but you, nothing. People want to know more about Reed.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
No,
You should see the emails that come in.
They can send it. You forward me these emails, and next show we'll have.
All right, listeners, you hear everything you want to know about Reed.
We'll have you go send in your questions.
Like,
we'll have
for
a
instance,
sharing. We'll have a sharing episode next time.
When you're just at home relaxing in your Richard Simmons shorts, watching Martha Stewart Living
with 7 other guys.
Mm-hmm. People want to know, dude. People want to know.
Okay. You all ride scooters? Is there like a scooter clique?
There's a scooter club. I'm not in it, but
did we talk about on the last show Wayne's fascination with the Asian chick at the Chinese restaurant?
It was at a Chinese restaurant, but that was a while ago.
Because we were talking about it the other day. Because I'm trying to understand what Wayne's attracted to. I found out that he's attracted to dirty feet.
Yes.
Because
definitely very
there's
much.
somebody that hangs out with the O&A posse that one day had flip-flops on and had dirty feet. And so Wayne remarks on it a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of wacky things that turn me
And
on.
so, and then he's talking about this chick at this Chinese food place, and I'm like, well, what is it that you are attracted to? And he says it's because she's covered in duck sauce, and you can lick it off.
Lick it off her feet?
It was just like, I came in, it was like, you know how like when you work in those takeout Chinese restaurants, they kind of like use the apron in their shirt to just kind of, she just had like all these stains all over it. That kind of turned me on.
Dude, you're weird.
So she was covered in condiments and that.
I'm weird. You hang out with fucking 7 guys and go vacation. I want to bang an Asian chick with duck sauce on her. I'm fucking weird.
By the way, we got an email from a guy. Hey, Lazlow, I was wondering if you could do a live show in my house. What is the rates?
Yes.
Would it be lower than $60,000? And
I think he hit the number right. No, that's the right number.
And I emailed back and said, Wayne will do it for $50.
Wayne will do it for a cigarette and a kick in the ass.
I'm off the butts.
Oh, right. Okay.
This other guy emailed and says that he thinks Reed is Deadpool, the guy from the comic book Deadpool, because Deadpool often rides a scooter.
Wow. Sweet.
And also, this gentleman wants to know that he is down in the South, in Lexington, North Carolina, and wants Wayne to know that they're dry down there right now, and he can't find any weeds. So you've got something in common with one of our... But
they have the best barbecue in the world down there.
Yeah,
dude.
he does actually say that.
I'm
If
serious.
Reed comes down south for some barbecue, he should hook up with some of his fans. Live near Lexington, North Carolina. Didn't you you wrote that story about barbecue because we actually called you.
Yeah, and I went down to Lexington. They have a barbecue festival every year, and they have like one barbecue restaurant for every 30 residents of the town or something ridiculous. It's like heaven.
Another email wants to know if Wayne has thought about robbing another shoe store.
Not recently, no. I now can afford to buy my shoes.
Evidently, there's somebody that's fascinated with the fact that Wayne owns 2 3-legged cats.
Yes.
And wants to know, do Wayne's cats move around as quickly as regular cats?
Yes, they do.
God, all right.
Can't jump very high, but they can fucking run fast.
See, only Wayne would go into a pet store and be like, oh, look, disabled animals.
You know they didn't come home because Wayne wanted disabled animals.
Exactly. Here's one. Hey, we should probably play some. Sad music for this one. This is a tearjerker. Tearjerker letter.
No.
Yes.
Am I gonna get emotional here?
Yes, you may.
Dude, next show we have to bring in some clips from Everybody Loves Raymond and, whoa.
No, I'll be prepared then.
Okay.
Hey, I heard you talking. Hey, Lazlow, I heard you talking about the Last Wish organization, one of your shows. I can't remember what you said, but it made me think about talking to you. I have skin cancer and will pass away soon. I don't really like that Last Wish BS, but I was wondering if you could do one for me. Just give a shout out to me on the show. All my friends and I listen to the show. I would appreciate it so much. P.S. I don't really have cancer. I just thought that would get your attention. I know what I did was wrong. Isn't that nice?
We've all learned a lesson.
Yeah, I think we've all learned a lesson. Is that you really don't make cancer jokes.
Mm-mm.
Just to get us... And you notice I didn't read his fucking name.
There you go. That'll show him. Fool. Now all his friends are beating his ass in his den or wherever they're listening.
I was going to play the Larry King drunk audio, but you guys... Did you play the Larry King drunk audio recently?
Not recently, but it was probably about a month ago.
Recently, okay. Yeah, by the way, Wayne says it was last Tuesday that you played it. That's what a fucking drug addict he is. Last Tuesday was a month ago.
No.
It was nowhere near last Tuesday.
Okay. I remember it, though.
I love the Andy Rooney mashups they're doing online now. Like, they're always taking Andy Rooney stuff, putting it to music.
Yeah.
And that Ali G thing you sent me, I didn't bring it, but when Ali G went to Andy Rooney, it was the funniest shit ever. But they just, I don't understand how he gets paid millions of dollars with his eyebrows that look like skunks got taped to his head. to sit there and complain about shopping, how the size of a shopping cart.
And every third piece that he does, maybe twice a month or something, he's run out of ideas, and so it's just shit in his desk. That's what he's gonna do for 60 seconds. It's just shit right in front of me. I got all this stuff in my desk.
They strung some shit. I know we played some Andy Rooney stuff last time, but he's going to be dead soon. But they strung some stuff together. It was cracking me up.
What I always want to read is stories about lottery losers. I drink an average of 2 beers a year, and neither of them is Bud Light. If I had time to take care of a cat, I wouldn't get a cat. I'd get a dog. Lots of hawks, blue jays, cardinals, owls. Not many robins or sparrows. Elephants, the sheep, the goats, pigs or cows. Badgers, bulls, bears, beavers, bobcats, broncos, bulldogs. I don't care much for Brussels sprouts, liver, or custard dessert. The beans are over-roasted. I like steak, lamb, and pork chops, but you couldn't make me eat rabbit or horse. Would a real man get caught eating a Twinkie? The coffee has a burn taste. Call me when you get to the office. Sometimes when I get up in the morning, I can't even remember where my socks are.
Dude, they just take this old man and let him babble his incoherent bullshit.
Is anyone editing these things?
I know.
Is there any oversight with this?
I know. They just what's amazing about 60 Minutes, they've just done this amazing expose busting a pharmaceutical company, doing immoral things.
Right.
This huge, blowing the doors off journalism. And then there's some old fool complaining about Brussels sprouts. It's like, what the fuck?
He is crazy, man. Have you ever seen how far also up his waist his pants come?
I know. What is it?
I don't know.
Old people love the high pants.
Yeah.
And he looks like a 200-year-old hobbit. I swear to God, his pants are like under his armpits, dude. Even when he's sitting down, you can see his waistband.
Right.
That is high pants.
And here's the other thing that I don't understand about old people. At what point do you stop trimming this bush growing out of your ear, your nose? I remember when I met Charlton Heston and interviewed him, that dude had more nose hair than I have ever... Dude, it was insane. I mean, I could have reached up and plucked them out. They were long as fuck. He could have braided them. And, when you look in the mirror, don't you say, wow, I have hair growing out of my nose or my ears? They're like, guess what? Fuck it, I'm not getting pussy anymore. Who cares?
You know, it's the same for the same reason that old people can just be racist. Because they're old, dude. They're too old for anyone to tell them different.
Wouldn't it be great if when they hacked Sarah Palin's email, that she had one in there, like, we going on an email like that?
That would be
sweet. That would have been so awesome.
That's right. There was nothing in there. There was what was in there? Did you read her hacked emails?
I read a couple of them,
Yeah.
and I'm glad that Fox News, also known as Phone News, is calling for anybody that printed them to be thrown in jail. That's the kind of America that Fox News wants, is that anybody that printed those emails should be thrown in jail. The real story that they're trying to cover up, and they knew about this before, is that Sarah Palin and her aides, they have documentation where they were saying, don't talk about government business on the government emails, talk about it on private emails, because those can't get subpoenaed like the government stuff, because when you're in the government, everything is supposed to be on the record.
Right.
But Karl Rove and the Bush administration figured out years ago that they had second BlackBerries paid for by the Republican Party, and that's when they did all their dirty deals and all their communication. There was 2 years of email traffic on the White House servers that as soon as they started to look into subpoenaing them, the hard drives mysteriously erased.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you know about that?
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah. So Sarah Palin's not even in the White House yet, and she's already breaking the law.
It's
like,
terrible.
You cannot talk about government business on your private email accounts, and they do it on purpose. And they busted her in this hack, too.
Yeah.
That's the real story.
That's right. I don't understand why there's not more outrage. You know, everyone on both sides is corrupt. It's bullshit. There needs to be, seriously, there needs to be some sort of revolution. What is going on, man? I'm sick of it.
Right. And, I mean, people sound like Obama's the savior.
Right.
You know, the same way they did Clinton. It's like they're all politicians. But let's be honest. Sarah Palin is batshit crazy. She's crazy. And she's going to be the fucking president, because that dude is going to die.
Seriously. If he eats something too spicy, he's going to die. Right. Like, for 2 months.
Right.
Oh, my God. We've gotten very political tonight.
We have gotten very, and our next show is right before the election. I think it's like our next show is like November 1st.
I think we're going to make a difference.
No, we're not going to make a difference.
I know.
And even
I'm
if
joking.
Obama gets in, he's not going to make much of a difference.
I'm saying we'll make a difference.
Oh, we'll
for
make a
voters.
difference?
Yeah.
I just love hardcore liberals when you talk to them. They're like, if McCain gets in, I'm moving.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, first off, where are you going to go?
Right.
And secondly,
Finland?
you've been saying that for 20 motherfucking years.
I know.
But you're too busy listening to NPR to give a fuck about anything else.
I know. Alec Baldwin talks a big game.
Oh.
You turn on 30 Rock, there he is.
Exactly. I'm moving to Canada.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Oh,
no,
really?
No, I'm not.
They film TV shows there that pay you millions of dollars?
Exactly. You're going to give me a countdown thing, aren't you, Danny? You're going to bring in the little thing that beeps? Yeah? Just got to make sure. Yeah, dude. Everybody does that. Like, and that's the real threat. And of course, those people would be like, "Good, get the fuck out."
Right. More power for them dum-dums who voted them in the first place, man.
Right.
They don't want your Whole Foods shopping ass in here.
And I don't know if you remember, but I mean, during the first Iraq war, what was it, 1990 or whatever it was, or invasion or whatever the fuck you want to call it, Canada made an announcement. By the way, we're not accepting people like we did last time in Vietnam because that was a slight mess. Because you had all these burnouts that just rolled into Canada and they're just kind of hanging out on the public dole.
Right.
Because now, if you want to move to Canada, you have to have $250,000 in your bank account.
Really?
Yes, because they've got such great health care and such great social programs, but they don't want people just moving there so that they can, live off of the taxpayers, that you have to prove that you've got, some kind of income. So you can't just roll in there.
$250? Who's $250 sitting and checking? Wayne. $2.50.
Exactly.
Keeping it all under the mattress, my
That dude,
friend.
exactly. I know that you have all your money in a shoebox at home.
Yeah.
Do you have
Meanwhile,
a bank
he
account,
called me
Wayne?
yesterday and he's like, "I'm out of weed." I'm like, dude, I can't help you. I can't help you.
Do you have a bank account, Wayne?
Sure, I got multiple bank accounts.
Okay. All right. I'm just checking.
Multiple bank accounts, all of which will be empty soon. What are you doing? Write me in that. You can just say it. You can just say it, Danny. You're a faggot. Is that what it said? Oh, thank you. Thank you so much that I've just killed all that time.
I didn't say to bring it on again.
Danny, this show almost did. I got to tell you, this show almost did not happen. I called him all day. Normally, Danny answers my phone calls. I was calling him all day. He got so fucked up over at Anthony's house at the mansion over there that they woke up at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon or some shit, and then he rolls in. And then they started drinking as soon as they woke up at 2 this afternoon or whatever.
That's not true.
Dude, you were drunk. You showed up and you're like,
and stuff too.
But dude, you showed up here and you were like, I'm still fucked up. We got 50 seconds left. This is the Lazlow Show, or was the Lazlow Show, episode 35. I guess our next one is November 1st, if we hopefully don't get preempted. The website, lazlow.com. You can pick up the box set there. I think it's like $26. And it's got everything on DVD. Also wanted to acknowledge Leonard Golsinski and Derek Wright, both of which died yesterday in Iraq, and our hearts go out to their families because nobody is talking about the men and women that are serving over there, and we thank them very much for their dedication. Thanks very much to Opie and Anthony for letting us come in here and pollute their airwaves. Thanks to Daniel Radosh. His website's getraptureready.com. Ours is lazlow.com. Brush your teeth, nigga.
Thank you for listening to the Lazlow Show.
That sure sucks my ass. That's only in the morning. Because we are cooking breakfast or somebody.
I want nothing. I want my God and I want my family.
She was here for the adult side and stuff.
Hello?
It's Bob.
Hello.
Hi, it's Bob.
When we ate at Nathan's before, only my chair had the yellow balloon on it.
What are you talking about?
All right, kid. We did it. Woo! Kid? Kid, you all right? Come on, buddy, you all right? Can you hear me? Kid?
If I say yes, will you promise we'll never have to do that again?
Never say never, partner. Never say never.
Rock over London, rock on Chicago, Discover card.
It pays to discover.